You mean from the chat or from the little dice roller thing?
I just moved one. A 4.
Yeah, I was able to move that 6.
I know it could be a bit temperamental sometimes.
The bishop had to retreat. The bishop had to retreat. The bishop had to retreat.
Hmm?
Huh?
What happened?
I'm lost.
And then we'll be
So
good
how
to
do we
go.
test whether we can put a total there?
Oh, so if you can either roll the dice, or I think it just worked for what was there. If you just grab it out and then drag it into onto the board itself.
That doesn't look like it's doing anything for me.
Let me try.
Hold on, let me try grabbing one of the yellow pieces.
So usually it's like the green ones.
Oh, yep.
Like
I
just
get
take
some.
those and then drag it up onto the.
I'll grab 2 of them for whatever reason.
Yep, I can grab stuff. I'm cool.
Oh, wow, I see.
Cool.
Oh, I think I changed my color to red.
Yes. So those make it so that we're not like sitting there trying to remember what someone used as like an effect die or what the total was, because that can end up getting confusing kind of quick. If you ever do like Dogs in the Vineyard, that actually works really, really well for Dogs in the Vineyard. All right. So before we start off, how many of you are familiar with like general safety tools in role-playing games? Yeah, things like X card. You can either type an X in there or just if there's a thing. I know from my point of view, like things like there's certain things I generally consider off the table unless a player specifically wants to explore that, in which case we can discuss it. Things like sexual assault, like homophobia, transphobia, those sort of things, racism in particular, those things that, like, as a straight white dude, I should not be assailing those.
I estimate we'll be doing some form of
Yep.
xenophobia with me being a demon and running a pub, though.
Yeah,
That's
there's
everyone's
some
okay with that.
I think.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
that
happy
was-
to take that off the board if someone's like, actually, you know what?
Yeah,
I
that
can't
was-
deal with elves versus dwarves today.
Yeah, that was one thing I did want to bring up too, because I know one of the things that Steve's character was like never a demon's always a demon.
Never trust a demon,
Never-
probably.
Yeah. So in that one, the world that we're looking at, we've got a lot of people who are. I mean, clearly demons are running things, so it's. I don't know how much Forgotten Realms has gone towards that, but I do know in the pictures and stuff for like Dragon Heist, it seems like beholders are just kind of hanging out with adventurers and stuff now. But it would seem that the world we're living in, at the very least, you've got maybe demons and other creatures and such that are essentially just living with folk. And I know you both had talked about your demon nature, so we can take a moment here. What are you thinking of as far as how you see demons in this setting?
I'm thinking, so I don't know how, well, I mean, it depends. I don't know to talk about everyone else, but being the proprietor, my idea is that demon kind are getting a bit more accepted since the idea of tieflings have become a sort of like a common thing, a common-ish thing in the world where people are born.
Oh, quick things there. If we're using D&D World, Tieflings is way after I had done D&D stuff, so we can do it. I just don't know much about
Okay,
them,
let
so
me just make it
you all
quicker.
probably bring in some of that stuff in.
Demon kind have been coming to the planet for one. They've been used coming to Earth for one. They've been used as, like, you know, means of getting things done. But as has been going on, there's been a revolution that maybe perhaps demons don't want to be summoned for everything to do. They kind of just want to be left alone and do their own thing. So demon kind of trying to go for the whole like having rights issue. Even though people are still like, well, you guys are still evil. We're like, yeah, we are, but that doesn't mean you don't get to live in a house. I mean, you're evil too in some aspects. Maybe we could be good and evil. And we have this sort of like conflict going on. So it's always demon. No one's okay with demons, but when they're not burning down towns, they're like, well, maybe they're not all so bad.
Good night, Wesley. Might up and kill you in the morning. Why'd you burn down the town? I am a demon. Lexa, how's that square with
Yeah,
what you're
that's
thinking?
cool. I don't know how rare or common. I might put this to Lloyd. How common like half demons are. Like you said, tieflings, and like aren't tieflings sort of like descendants of demons in general? So like my character might be considered a bit of a tiefling, I guess.
I think that's fair. I think with people slowly starting to get to the point that maybe not all demons are fully demonic and horrific, more half demons are coming out of the woodwork aren't just like shunned or hated or anything else like that. I reckon maybe if it's a mystical world, there was like a demon human combo that somehow saved the world, and as such demons are kind of being seen as a light thing. So half demon children are kind of like, oh, that's not so bad. We're okay with it, I think.
Okay, so I do kind of dig that idea that there is a general distrust, but there is this history of someone that, like, you can kind of point back towards this hero kind of thing.
I gather my character's distrust is more based on past experience, as opposed to just a general, like, well, you don't talk to, you don't ever trust a demon.
Yeah.
Also,
Past experience plus the normal, summoning issues of, demons trying to, break their chains and,
I think that's fair. Wait, what? Also, I like the whole idea that demons are dungeons and demons are getting smarter and are starting to corporate what's called ruins and stuff from adventurers. So while the adventure economy has gone up, the demonic economy has started to go down until we're like, hold up, we could charge people for this and make money out of this, so we can live in this world. And it's kind of like a weird Renaissance period where everything is going like commercialized and living the Faerun dream. That's the reason why dungeons have like inns next to them where you have to come and stay before you go into the dungeon. Yes.
So the dungeon is Disney World?
A much more lethal Disney World.
Is it Disney World that might kill you?
Demons are the shrewdest of business people.
Make me an offer.
Hi, kids. Check your soul.
You must have this much soul to ride.
I mean, otherwise, just not really worth it.
So
how's that sound, everybody? Okay. So yeah, there'll be aspects of that. One of the things too, there's a sort of the O card as well as something I've seen used where it's like if the way things are going are cool, you just want to do a check-in and be like, yeah, that's fine. Like an O in the chat or something works. Yeah, so that aspect will be there. We can try to figure out maybe exactly how people do it without essentially just pasting real-world racism onto the fantasy world, which can sometimes get a bit weird. Any other things in particular we want to see or not see?
I think I'm open to most things at the moment.
Right, could you say that again? I don't know. You're really low for me. Alexa.
Oh, for me or for
sorry.
Alexa?
That's the problem I normally have. I'm okay. I think I'm open to most things at the moment, so I'm fine.
Okay. All right, and nothing else in that case. So for the beginning, one of the things we kind of want to do, I've got some basically some inciting incidents, and then also double check, like, kind of see what a little bit of your day, the character's days are like, sort of standard. It gives us a baseline to sort of play from. And I know that at least Steve and Lloyd have done Smallville, like Cortex Prime stuff before. I don't know if Pat or Lexa
Not
have.
even a little.
Okay. So, one thing to keep in mind. One of the things that actually the Cortex Prime, that the Smallville does really well, is if two players get into a conflict. If you kind of look at your character keeper, if you get into a conflict with another character, one of the interesting things that can happen is it helps your character grow. So if, like, for example, and we'll just say, let's say Nastara and the proprietor get into an argument about something, and they might start rolling. If you start rolling off against each other, with that, like, you could be adding anger or exhausted, or insecure, stress to each other. Stress ends up becoming experience points. Because essentially, like, your biggest stress at the end of a session becomes a growth die, and then when someone helps you, like if you go to another player and you have a scene together where they actually essentially attack your stress to take away one of them, those also go into the growth pool. So when the characters push each other, it becomes advancement essentially, and that part works really well. But what it does require, particularly until everyone, like, if people get used to it, is that sort of checking in with each other, also making sure it's characters in conflict and not players in conflict. Like, Lloyd and I were in a game where one of the characters was essentially one of the villains in it, and it works really well. It just means that you've got to, if player versus player happens, it's actually a feature of the system, and also to make sure if you're getting to the point where if it's catching you personally, just let us know.
Did they catch that guy
We can
personally?
kind of pull it back. No, he was. I think everyone was totally cool about, like,
Yeah.
particularly when he went in and killed his father at the
Also,
end.
it was,
would have been, like,
also
the
was
season
very
two.
much like,
It's just,
even though he was the villain character, he would humanize with us when we came to being normal and stuff like that. That was really cool.
Yeah. So I've known a couple players where sometimes it just hits you, like, it's just a day where it just sort of hits you wrong, where it comes down to it. So those are the things that if you dive into with enthusiasm, it's cool, awesome. If you're not feeling it, just let folks know. But I think beyond that, we are probably ready to start. If we just want to go through, introduce yourself and your character, and one thing I would do is give a description, because in particular with the demons, don't quite have a specific picture in mind for what y'all look like.
Oh, shit, I was gonna find a picture or something.
Yeah.
Oh, if you do find pictures for your characters or for NPCs, you can actually put those in the Kumu. And then we can have, like, a whole thing, like, oh, that's what these people look like. So we have someone want to start?
And I guess I could start. I mean, I might as well.
Okay.
Okay. How? Just be sure. If I start up, how far are we going? Can I just set the scene and we're just going from there, or?
Oh, well, first I would just introduce your character and then also explain like what they look like in particular, because like for like the proprietor and Nastara in particular, I don't know quite what you look like. And then once we've gone through everybody, if there's a particular scene you want to start, we can do that. I've also got some stuff.
All right. So the proprietor is a full-blooded fire demon. So deep red skin, two horns that roll up like in a circle on the top of his head, and his eyes, when he's angry, when he's normal, are just like pure red, but when he's angry, actually flame up. When he breathes, there is a slight hint of brimstone in his breath when he goes for that, but it doesn't always come. It comes and goes. Depends on what kind of mood he's in. The more fired up he is, the more it comes out. His body is like he's maybe like double the size of a human, so big, broad shoulders, giant body. He has goat style legs, where like the legs bend in, and like he's walking on them in a kind of like hind style. But he wears he wears most of the time clothes, human-style clothes, over his body to hide any over-distinguishing features. He does have like tattoos running down his back, which glow and go down according to what the temperature is. And sometimes they glow so much they burn his clothes. So you see his clothes always have slightly singed look upon them, which means he changes them quite often because that's the way it is. When he speaks, he speaks in a big bellowing like voice when he's angry. But because he finds it difficult to read, he usually has a pair of glasses on his nostril, like there, like tiny ones that he just sits on there whenever he needs to look at books and stuff like that, which can change his demeanor. He is prone to getting really mad really quickly, but he's also prone to listen to sub stories really well. So his emotions could go from "I'm really angry" to "Oh my god, it's so sad," and it just bounces back and forth a lot, and that's it.
For his shape, I'm like imagining the Satan from South Park, like his huge body and these little
That's
goat
the
legs.
same stuff with that whole body shape thing.
Cool. Got someone want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go. So Samrio is sort of like your normal middle-aged looking person, but he's got like a full beard, balding at the top of his head. Always seems to have somewhat of a calm demeanor, even though, you could see it, like he has the tiredness of being a provider and full-time father under his eyes. Like he always looks tired. But is pretty calm, is quick to give you a smile, but is also pretty quick to grumble and complain about any little thing that might bother him during the day.
Excellent. We'll go with Steve or Lexa.
Wrath Gondontalus, for those who wish to pronounce his whole name and respect him. Bald head, beard that still has some black in it, but is mostly, graying out right now. Serious crow's feet, on his eyes from, squinting at tomes and, constantly, being at the, trying to decipher something. You can tell he had an air of authority once, but right now he just sort of lacks that confidence. He's not the forceful persona that, people once knew him as. He has a, beautiful portrait, in his parlor, of him in his, purple dragon robes and, armor and, staff and everything. And, and then you look at that and you look at him and you're like, God, what happened? He just doesn't have that air of authority anymore that he used to. In terms of attitude, he does make a lot of, unusual requests of the staff. But, because he brings in business and pays the bills, some of that is let go, although I'm sure it's complained about frequently because Lloyd's in the game.
What sort of
whether it
unusual
be
requests?
for, different food, the care of the, of the room, quieting the disturbances of, the proprietor, yelling and screaming at the top of his lungs and, interrupting my customers. The usual stuff that, is just minor. It's an annoyance, mainly.
Okay.
And then I'll detail the parlor probably when we get to it.
Sounds good. And Lexa?
Appearance-wise, Nastya almost looks like she has like a normal human body shape. Her skin is ever so slightly purple. this, and she has 2 horns on her head. This changes sometimes, especially when she's emotional. Like for example, when she's angry, the demon side might come out more, so her like skin might like darken quite a lot, and like her eyes will go black and things like that. Just like the more like the demon blood is stirred, the more just inhuman she looks. In terms of personality, she will, when someone talks to her, she will turn to them and have a complex look of, oh my god, what the fuck do you want? And, oh shit, am I in trouble? On her look at the same time. She isn't openly hostile or like openly like discouraging to people. She will try to be as courteous and as normal as possible. But if you see her skin is particularly like dark purple, it's people know by now that they might not want to get in her way.
Hey, this wasn't the thing that we ordered. Nope, that's fine. I'll eat this. This is like
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, someone who shows
she's a
that
human,
when she's not happy.
half demon mood
it
ring,
is-
I think.
Sweet. Okay. Let's just let you one thing about just the quick conflict stuff. When you roll conflict, you basically go down your character sheet and take each of those sections that have the black bar, because you do a value, you do a relationship, a distinction. Basically, you can use like one of your abilities or distinctions, and then a extra or location. Though, as you use the extras locations, they get essentially drained. So imagine every single extra location has 2 uses each session. And if it's one you share with someone else, if it gets used by somebody else, then that one, like instead of rolling 2d4 next time, you would roll 1d4. The nice thing about those is those get added directly to your total, as opposed to being a separate thing. So you usually take the 2 highest. And the Smallville one you tend to roll fairly close to, like 3 dice tends to be pretty common. But then what you do is you take one of the other dice, that becomes your effect die. So let's say, for example, you've got a d12 that rolls fairly low, but your other ones are kind of high. So you could take the 2 d6s you have that maybe have an 8 total, and then put the d12 as an effect die, as long as it's not a 1, which means your chances of hitting may be a little bit lower, or this could be also arguing with someone. But if you hit, you're going to hit pretty hard with what that is, because in that case, the effect die becomes stress if it succeeds. And you can almost think of it like a tug of war. So like when you roll, you have your total. The other person tries to match. So if you're in an argument, you would say your thing, you would roll your dice, you'd have your total and your effect die. The other person would then see if they could beat you. If they succeed, that becomes a new total, and now it goes back and forth. You have to see if you can reach it. When someone fails, they take that effect die as stress. So that can become making someone angry, it can be hurting them in a physical combat. And you can use your opponent's stress die as something you roll. You can also, we've all seen Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So like they have that moment like where they stop fighting and Luke flips back in there, and then Vader is like, "We could use your sister instead." And then Luke freaks out and starts like whomping on him. That would be Luke using a plot point to use his own stress die. So like Vader's trying to psych him out so that he can use that stress die against him, but Luke's like, "Screw that. I'm going to go ultra berserk because of what you did, and I'm going to add that to my own." And there are special effects, like if you've got a character with berserk, it might be a thing like you essentially like raise up your own anger stress pool by 1, and then use that in your pool, which means you're getting a little more powerful with it, but you're also bringing yourself closer and closer to being taken out. So that's basically how the die rolls will work. On the character keeper, I also put a thing for how plot points are used. If you do want to check, because you can create like an asset or a thing that you use. Let's say you can also create an asset by a test. Like let's say Wrath is looking into somebody, and like makes the rolls and such to see about, okay, I want to see if I can find out what's going on with this character, and essentially create an asset of their secrets. And so if they're in a conversation with that person, you can kind of pull out, oh yeah, well, this is what I know. For that, they've used the plot point to create, or they've created it, but then the plot point lets them bank it for another turn. Or if someone decides, I'm going to smash that chair and use the table leg to intimidate somebody, make the test to create it, and then they can use it in that scene. That's it. We'll let the fiction pull a lot of that, and we'll go into how the actual rules affect it. I have a Doom pool, or a Trouble pool rather, that is used throughout. It starts at 2d6. When you roll ones, I get to give you a plot point, and then you raise up. I give you a plot point, and then I basically take that die into the Doom pool. So the Doom pool will grow. Outside of GM characters that have their own stat stuff, I usually use the Doom pool for the rolls. So essentially, as things move on, there kind of becomes more and more danger built up over the course of it, and I've got a bunch of ways I can spend those, and those are also in the plot point bit. And we'll have a chance to play with those in this first session. Any questions before we start?
I guess I pretty much had to see it in action to be able to kind of grok it a little bit.
Yeah. Once you go, it tends to fall into place like pretty easily. Okay, so we'll begin with some. You'll see it in action by some people who've used it before a little bit at first. So in a standard day, we'll start with Rethkin Dauntless. In a standard day for you, when adventurers and such are going up to the second floor, you've got regular people, hangers-on, and all of the kind of adventuring groupies, and just the people that live nearby that come here and are maybe sometimes a little bit annoyed by the adventurers that come in, but really prefer this place to the Angel's Rest, which is across the way, which is not for everybody. I have a feeling, and Lloyd, let me know if this is wrong, that the Demon's Ruin Inn, probably outside of the specific adventurers part of it, is probably a little more down to earth for folks. Or do you want it to be something fancy? You're muted. Lloyd, you were muted for that.
Oh no.
Sorry. Adventurers are cheap, so we got to give them the cheap.
Oh, we lost
got really
Lloyd.
cheap. We got to give them the cheap but decent service. So we're not up class, but we're decent.
Okay. Okay, so on this one, you've got all the people coming around. You've got the adventurers, some coming through, some of them laden down with gear and all of their stuff, and the groupies watching them, and then the regulars. Wrath, what do you tend to do during these days when you decide that you are sort of on the clock, so to speak, and making your money?
If I would imagine I'm in the common room unless either A, I'm researching something, or a client engages me and wants to discuss information about some portion of the depths that I've probably run into. So I would probably have a corner table. Well, he wouldn't have a corner table. I would have a table pretty much in the middle of the room. He does still want that attention that he used to have, and he's not concerned at all about getting stabbed in the back from some ancient enemy. The only ancient enemy that he has is probably he probably ran afoul of the proprietor at least once, but. Right. I mean, the
boss or partner.
People who come to this inn aren't anyone he would have antagonized. He wasn't adventuring against others. He was, going against the dungeon.
You've probably also built up enough goodwill from the people going in that they
right.
know
And he's
that
not,
they're getting a lot of people.
He's just
after
not
them.
that kind of paranoid type of person.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, so the unfortunate part about you being just sort of in the middle when people comes in is that when people enter the Demon Ruins Inn, it's hard not to see them. And that is especially true for your estranged husband, Adon. And Adon, very occasionally, he tries what he can to avoid it, but the pacts have been created through the Mages Guild, the various priests, the Adventurers Guild, and all those, that they will send some of their fairly powerful people there to watch and make sure nothing happens. Anybody can chime in here real quick. How have you actually had any, like, since this became the Demon's Ruin Inn, did you actually have any sort of incursions or problems, or is this just a making sure it doesn't happen?
I think what I imagine is, like, if the patrons get too rowdy or too drunk, like, some of these adventurers are spending their coin and, there's a lot of drinking going on, they might get a little rowdy with each other. I think, like, the either the town guard or the priesthood or whatever would rather handle it than the demons that own the place and work there get involved, because they don't trust the demons. The demons might go too far and actually, really cause a ruckus in town.
So you're thinking not excursions from the dungeon. It's
Yeah.
for the adventurers.
Right. Yeah, my assumption was that the power level of the people, especially on the second floor that are going down into the, the depths of the dungeons, eclipses, what normal watch can handle. So if a high level, mage or cleric or something starts, dropping down a meteor swarm or something, the watch isn't really going to be able to stop them.
Okay, that's I hadn't been thinking about that, but that's hilarious. It's for the adventurers, not so much for the actual dungeon. So yeah, Adon, it is apparently is his murder hobos.
Exactly.
Fine. And by the way, we put this pot over here for decoration. Stop breaking it looking for rupees. There will never be an item in that
Every
pot.
time a new, adventuring party comes in, we're like, we start to hide the valuables because we know there's going to be a fight. Because they're a new adventuring party.
Hey, what's the... Oh, crap, new folks.
Yeah, I pull one of the wooden barrels out behind the bar to make sure nobody hits it with their weapon.
Hobby was supported by F5.
Make sure, guys, you gotta stop screwing around. So, yeah, Adon comes in and, immediately his basically eyes go straight to you when you come in, and you can kind of see just a little bit of regret and pain kind of pop in there. How, you say it's strange. Tell me what that relationship is like right now.
We both, have settled on that we should be a part at the moment, both for, his political problems, in the clergy of Mystara. But also, he's having not second thoughts, but doubts as well, whether it actually is a sign, that, he's out of favor because, his, husband has, been, bereft of his magic, and, that's her domain.
Yeah, I would say one thing, when I put together Adon, one of the things I did was for the heritage, like a child with magic, Adon was born with a abnormal amount of sort of magic and such flowing through him. So because of this, he was sort of seen as, here's someone very special, and I'm guessing Wrath was also quite powerful.
Hence the long name.
So so that in particular is sort of hurtful, because his whole life he was sort of brought up with this idea that the amount of magic he has going through him is special, and he found someone who matched him, and now that's been lost. So as he sort of comes by and then nods briefly to you, he's sort of pausing by the table before heading into the adventurers section, and then quite formally, Wrath and Dauntless,
Adon? I see you drew the short straw this week.
Yeah. Is the proprietor somewhere where he can be seen?
Yes, I will be. I mean, are you in the parlor or at the bar?
So it's
Okay,
sort of like in
good.
the
At
middle
which
of the
point, I'm
floor?
probably like bringing down barrels of beer, and I've got like one on each shoulder, and I'm just like walking in. I sort of pause, and I look over at them both, but I see them both there, but I only technically see one of them because they all look the same to me. I sort of like, and I sort of keep walking onwards.
And Adon's eyes just kind of glare for a bit as he sees the proprietor go by, and then looks back at you, Wrath, and then reaches into a pocket and pulls out a small token that he sets on the table and slides in front of you. You know what this is. There is a... You don't know if it's a quack, if it's one of those miracle cures that might work but is incredibly dangerous. But what I guess you can let me describe like a treatment or something that you know might have a possibility of working, but that Wrath would not do because of the danger, because of how much there is to lose.
Let's see. I already take some various potions from Nextra, so I want something else other than that. I would say it involves being possessed by a spirit from one of the planes, in order to sort of like kickstart the magic channels.
Maybe something that make a note here. Maybe something that actually takes it possesses you and then sort of takes you on a magical quest. Okay, so something that like there's a massive amount of danger, plus you also probably don't want to have something possessing you. It's something that he's hinted at before, but hasn't necessarily tried to push yet. But at this point, slides it in front of you.
What's this?
So he is trying to push you towards doing this. As he pushes it forward, he's like, "I know you think this is dangerous, but you used to be beautiful, just filled with power. You were a god among men. You can be that again."
Like, but you would risk my life for that?
Is it not worth risking? To be back who you were?
I lost my magic. I didn't lose who I am. I don't understand why you can't deal with that.
Okay, so I make the roll here. So at this point, again, emotionally, he's basically what he's trying to do, and this is one to let other people know. You're never pushed in a position where you have to do something. Like being if you're stressed out of a situation, it's not mind control, and a lot of times the big part of it is you're putting stress on someone, which then complicates other things that they do. So what he had rolled was a 2 6s, which I used for the total. You always take your highest two, and the effect die was a D8. So he's essentially trying to push him towards it, which I'm assuming would probably make you probably either angry or exhausted if he ends up succeeding. But yeah, you're pushing back also now on how he sees you being worthy. So if you want to go,
yeah. So,
oh, and then for everyone else, Adon rolled his value that his love has only caused him pain. He's looking to try to fix that. He's got his relationship with Wrath, which is a D8, which is he can be beautiful again, filled with power. And then his connected, the D6, because he knows people that got him one of these tokens.
So I'm definitely going to be rolling my karma that we are more than our pass. I think at this point, I still think that our love can survive my loss of magic, so I'll be using that relationship as normal. And then I don't actually have. I think I want to roll my guilty because, I know this was ultimately caused by my doing. I was,
Mhm.
trying to take down a, creature, and I'll detail that out later. But, I tried to expand, my magic ability, and, after it burned down the adventuring party, I tried to, take it back so that I wouldn't destroy myself.
And to keep in mind, you've got a great reason for using that, but in particular for our demons, like magical heritage would be something, because it's magical heritage is also like not, it has more to do with like knowledge of magic and such. So like a demon heritage, if it's something to do with demons, you could use that almost as a knowledge thing. Though guilty works a lot better here, so just something to keep in mind for the heritage folks.
Thing again, so that's die 4, which I'll get a plot point for. And don't we start with 1 or 2 plot points?
Oh yeah, everyone will start with 2
Ooh.
plot points. And with distinctions, one of the other things I like to use is once you have a D8, one of the things you can do is actually use a D8 as a D4, and you get a plot point for using that, because it's a super useful way of kind of kicking yourself a little bit.
Just roll, because I'm covering up my thing. Let's see. So I rolled a 7, 3, with only a D4 effect because of the 1.
Yeah, so the ones don't count, but if you don't have anything to put for an effect die, it becomes a D4. However, do take another plot point.
Where do we
and
record
I will
our plot
add that
points?
to the Doom pool.
Is it on the attributes, maybe, or?
Oh, that's what I could. Yeah, if you just want to, you can probably put it on your page or something. We could also do tokens if we want, but I think we'll probably mostly use the Roll20 just for the die stuff, or if you want to keep notes on things, that might be a place. But I think the character
just
keeper
for
might
the
be a good
session.
place to do that.
Okay.
So your
I
total
did
is
not beat.
10, so you did not beat the... Yeah, and so in this one what will happen is you'll take a D8, and you don't always have this option, because a lot of times it'll be fairly clear, but I think in here it could be... Do you think this would catch you with angry, insecure, or exhausted?
It all could make
I think all of
sense.
those
I'm going to
could
go
make sense.
with angry, because this is an ongoing fight we've had.
Okay, so take a D8 stress and angry.
We've gone through this before. I've looked it up. It's not safe. Not even remotely. I could come back as someone other than me.
It kind of gives a moment, and this is also let everybody else know. Like if you lose a thing and get some stress, it can go back and forth. I mean, you think about those kind of like hit points building up. If you go to a D12 or higher, it can take you out of a scene. Like if someone gets like angry out of the scene, they'll either like be in the. You get to describe how it affects you, but at that point, you're essentially out of the scene, whether it could be just in the corner being angry, or like stomping out, or if was injured or something, like actually going unconscious. But in this case, his shoulders kind of slump a little bit. He goes, the problem is, you've become someone who's not you. I was hoping to get you back. It's not just the power. It changes who you are.
And is this what your goddess has told you?
And at that point, kind of picks up the token, keeps it, goes, that's what life has taught me. If you change your mind, I'll be... And you hear like a singing starting up in the adventurer's room. He goes, I'll be babysitting people who should know better.
I'll just probably
And then
just
if you don't
stare
do
disappointingly
anything,
at his back as he walks
over.
away, and then go off to my parlor.
Okay. Yeah, so he.
Before he goes, can I quickly interject in this moment? Is that all right? I sort of poke my head around the bottom part of the cellar, bring my head out with my horse. I'm like, is he gone?
No. He's working this week.
Yes. And then I pull myself up and I sort of lean my hands over. You two have a fight again?
Same fight, different day.
You know, I don't know what you people have for issues and stuff, but if you want me to talk to him, I'm happy to talk. I promise I will only talk much. I won't eat him on purpose.
I'll think about it.
But you do that. Gonna be a big day. See you later. And I go back down to the cellar again and start working on the pipes.
Okay. In that case, Samrio.
Yes.
Ronan is just being a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm working the bar.
You're working the bar?
Working, and then people are constantly talking, telling me their problems, and I'm just, pretend listening to them, yeah, and just keep working.
Okay. And that is also Lexa's. Nystra working the bar as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think she's going out to tables and stuff.
Okay. So, you're kind of coming back and forth, and Ronan is at the bar. You've got some other people kind of gathered around, and Ronan's doing that thing where he's halfway behind the bar. He's in that little area where you can go back there. He knows he's not supposed to be back there, but he keeps kind of poking, coming down. Ronan's like, "Dad, come on,
Ronan, just because you
talk
play
to
this
him."
place once doesn't mean you can stand behind the bar. Employees only back here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Kind of steps back a moment. I'm just saying. Listen, if we're starting to do well, we played last week at the Thieves' Hand.
and I'm surprised you didn't leave that place with some more scars.
They like this because they like the music we're doing. It connects with people, particularly people who
Yeah, but I mean, they
danger.
like anybody that's brave enough to play the Thieves' Hand.
So
You know how dangerous that place is? I know why you didn't tell me beforehand.
Well, yeah, but listen, it's not. The point is, I can handle myself, Dad. The two of us, we've been playing dangerous places. I think if you really cared, you got a 9 with and I rolled a 1. On that one, and let me do one thing real quick. It goes, if I just know if you talk to him, maybe get us in there, we can do this, okay?
I don't know after what happened last time if the Prior is going to let y'all play again.
I bet Mom could talk him into it. I bet because she cares. She's not like you.
Why you gotta be so damn dramatic?
Okay, so at this point, if you want to make a roll to shut him down, now he's not a full, he's not a full, NPC. So he just uses the Doom Pool. So he's just got a value of 9, and so for you, it would be one of your values, a relationship here. You don't have him as a relationship, but you do have your wife, since you brought her up. You've got the proprietor. You also could even roll him as an extra along with one of those, because you do have that relationship with him, and you are his dad, so that gives you a bit of an extra pull
Okay.
when he does stuff.
Yeah, I think I may roll love for this one because I'm totally being fatherly with him. Like, you shouldn't play, at the thieves' hand, or if that was what it was called, because it's dangerous. So, and then I'll probably roll Kendiana because he did bring her up, about his mother letting him do it, and then
Yeah.
roll. Yeah, I guess I'll roll Ronin. So I put 2d6 in for that one.
Yeah, and for the Ronin one, actually, to be fair, roll the Ronin one after you roll the other ones, because with the extras, you get to add those directly to your total, so it's a third die. You get to add one of them. So essentially, when you use those, it's automatically
Okay,
gonna be
so
a little bit
so
better.
first off, I'm just trying to grok this. I would roll one value and one relationship, and then afterwards roll the Ronin. Just thinking.
Yeah, and well, then also, let's take a look, is you also have your, like, you could use one of your distinctions. I mean, smartass, not born yesterday, both of those seem like they would work.
Yeah, I don't see him. I don't see either of those fitting in. The smartass or not born yesterday. This is just him being fatherly over, because I don't think Ronan's lied to him or tried to lie to him. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and roll that. So I got a 12 and a 5. Do I drag both of those over?
Yeah, so what those will be is, since you don't have it would be like in this case, it won't really matter because he's got a he doesn't take stress. In this case, it's basically getting rid of him. However, oh, you did not. Yeah, you got a 17 with a D4 effect die because it'll automatically. And then you would roll.
Okay.
I mean, if you actually want to roll for Ronin real quick. Yeah, so you've got to add that to it. You've succeeded by more than 5, which means what happens is you get to use if you wish. When you succeed by more than 5, that's a critical, which means you then can look at using a. Oh no, I'm sorry. That we're not using the hero dice. That's for we're looking for my Monday night game. So yeah, basically a critical in that case. He's been used up for one of his. Like he sulks away. Fine. God, that's
Yeah, I think I might have like just kind of snapped at him a little bit. Like, don't bring your mother into this.
It won't. Sorry. Could you keep? Never mind. And he sort of walks a bit away, and bring up the character name again. I keep wanting to say,
Yes.
yeah, Nastaya. And he sort of comes. You see Ronan walking away, like he's definitely had his pride hurt a bit, but he kind of sees you and puffs himself up a little bit, and, like when you're maybe clearing off a table, and he goes, "Hey, Nastaya, we just played the Thief's Hand."
Without stopping working, she says, "Yeah, I heard you didn't die. Congrats."
Yeah, we we're did pretty well. I'm thinking maybe you want to come with us next time we're out there. Be with the band.
Don't know if I'm still barred. I heard you arguing with your dad. You wanting to work here again?
Oh, I pick up stuff. Oh, yeah, play here? Yeah, absolutely. Play here, rock the stuff. You can probably, put in a good word with the proprietor.
She gets a tiny glint in her eye where she's like, I could really have some fun here. And says, I mean, yeah, if you want, I could set you up with a meeting with him.
Eyes go kind of wide. You would do that? Oh, you are. You know what? I don't care what people say, but you are amazing.
What do people say? Never mind. I mean, can you handle talking to the proprietor by yourself?
It says, can I listen? I can handle talk. We just did the thieves' hand. Like, we just want to go here because it'll be good for our career, but we faced down some powerful stuff. Because one of those guys used to go out fighting like demons. I mean, no offense. I mean, not that people should be fighting demons, but your people are tough.
I mean, okay, I'll have a word.
Awesome. Do you want to come with Nick, when we have no, you talk. That's you. Okay, you talk to him.
Can I just add in, like, you hear Samrio, Estaya, these people are waiting on their drinks.
Yeah, she straightens up and says, well, I'm gonna work, and then she sort of like bumps past him.
Okay. Says, cool. Yeah, just let me know. I'll just be here. All right, proprietor.
Woo!
So as you're kind of going through, at one point, Adon kind of pokes his head. You're kind of moving stuff around. He goes,
I pause,
proprietor.
and I sort of like I'm like holding like maybe like half like a case of wine or something, and I sort of like gently put it down. I turn around, I straighten my glasses on my eyes, and I stand to my full height as I always do when I address Adon. And I'm like, Adon.
I'm aware that the Angel's Rest is asking to buy this. Is this really a place for you?
I smile a little bit, and I sort of go, I personally believe that the Demon's Ruin Inn gives a service to the people of this city and of the adventurers of this world that no other inn could possibly do. But why do you care?
Because there is an order in this world. There is a way things are supposed to be. You used to prey on adventurers. You used to kill them in the tunnels. You used to fight them. And now you're here.
And you used to go out of your way to slay anything you considered not right according to your order, whether blindly or by your own merit or by your own greed. And yet you are here.
Eyes sort of narrow at that point. He goes, it's perhaps a good thing that I no longer strike out as I once did, that as I've gotten older, I've learned that discretion is important, and things can be battled without having to resort to bloodshed. I'm suggesting you keep this in mind. He's trying to push your buttons. He's got a...
Oh, he wants to go straight to the dice? Oh, okay, let's do this. Let me see. What am I? My first roll, so, oh my god, I'm so scared. Let's do this. So, this is Adon, whom I have a D6 in. Yep, and I have him done as one absolute cunt, so excellent. Got him sorted, Let's clear this, let's clear that. Clear that dice, please. Oh no, okay. Never mind, don't clear it, it's fine. So I'm gonna go with what value was I trying to put in play there? I feel authority because he's trying to
Well,
challenge
essentially-
my reason for being here. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was basically
So
his
that-
too. The world must be clenched in the right fist. Mine.
And as he's coming straight for me, I would like to use Cosmopolitan. No, Cosmopolitan. I like to use Mini Boss because this is my home. I'm in charge of this place. Don't challenge me in my own home like that. That's not right. And that'll be a D8. You got a 13, right? Let's see what I get.
Yep.
Did that roll? Yes, it did. 6 and a 7 is probably not a 13, is it? I can't count. That's a 13. I'm off by 1.
That's a 13. You've. No,
But I need to beat it, don't I? I'm pretty sure I need to beat it before it goes back to him. So
Yeah, you're supposed
I will
to beat.
spend a
on
plot
this one.
point to add a third die to make it 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
And
what
I'll
is your
fold my
response to what
arm,
you
and
just
I'll
said?
sort of cock my neck a little bit and lean forward, and I'll go, is this really about me and the inn? If you had your way, you'd just simply nuke it, send in the boys, handle it while everyone was asleep like the coward that you are? Or are you just trying to get this done because I may have patrons, or perhaps one specific patron, that you would rather see somewhere else?
At that point, like his he goes a little bit cold on that one. You brought wrath into it, so that lets him
Oh yeah.
switch that up. Yeah, I'm gonna have him do this. He kind of like his hand sort of comes up, and you see one of the things you know is he's sort of a master of illusion. That's one of the powers he's good at. And it's like a scene sort of appears in front of him, and one that so you and Adon did you tussle a few times back in the dungeon? So you see, like, it appears in front of him, you in your former glory, like, just absolutely, completely demoned out. And he goes, yes, there is someone I'd like to see somewhere else, but don't pretend for a second you don't miss this. This doesn't call out to everything inside of your demon soul, saying that you want to be this person that you want to be. It's a bad roll. This person that you used to be. Yeah, he is going to fail, so tell me how you shut him down. Like,
I'm going to lean forward and look down at that and look up at him. And I'll go, please. Fighting? Maybe then, but right now, we're civilized. Haven't you heard? We're living the Pharaon dream. Making money and living to tell the tale about it. Stop living in the past like you always have, Adon. Everyone else has moved on. Even Wrath.
Ouch.
Do you want that to be
that's
insecure or
gonna
angry
be
stress?
straight up angry, like right to the heart. Also, where is it? I gotta read this. Give me a second. I gotta find it. Where my boy at? Oh, I can't find it. What the hell is it? It was I know I have this somewhere. Give me a second. I don't think I put it down, but I remember using the ability to say, like, hang on. Wait. Oh no, I can't do it. I thought I had that ability. Never mind. Carry on. It's all good. I can I can increase someone's insecure or afraid stress pool against them when they try to talk me out of helping somebody. And I thought, oh wait, I've also got vicious, but I don't have vicious. I didn't take vicious like an idiot. So don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh yeah, that was it not a set? Oh yeah, and also for your thing, if you want to take like with Savage and those, you can take there's the D4 and the D8.
What do you mean?
That are in there. Basically, like we can take them straight from the Smallville if you want. Where it's got like the three.
Yeah, I know, but I
abilities
didn't write it down,
abilities.
so I didn't take it, so it's fine. I thought I did take it, so whenever I make someone angry, it steps it up. But I didn't take it, so don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, it's just a D4. It wasn't a lot there. Just his hand sort of shuts, kills the illusion. He goes, "Fine, I'll be back momentarily." And he heads off towards the bathroom.
I look at it and go, even now you're still running away.
Just behind. This is
Go back
as
to
he's
like
walking
lifting
away.
up crane, like wine glasses to put them back again. He knows not to mess with me.
Okay. Nastaya.
Hello.
Well, you're going around. There's a guy going. He doesn't have the thing that. Yeah, what Steve put there is true. As you're going around, there's a guy kind of going from table to table, and the people that he's talking to, like you got some like low level, like kind of wannabe adventurers that will sometimes hang out on this floor before going into the other place, because that's often for the ones who sort of prove themselves. The ones that hang out there on the second floor tend to be a little more experienced. This guy's kind of going back and forth, and you catch out of the corner of your eye, corner of your ear. You happen to catch as you're walking by. I'm telling you, the shit Wrath's been peddling, it's only gotten people killed. The information he's got's not going to help you. It's part of a scam. And there's a group of sort of wannabe adventurers. We talked to him yesterday. He gave us some information about the lower levels. He goes, I'm just saying, he's maybe not the one you want to be talking to.
Yeah, I think she very like quickly, but like tries not to make attention to herself. Goes over to the bar, grabs a couple drinks that were probably already meant for someone else, and gives names. Gives Samrio a look like I got this, and then like goes over to like the bunch of like newbie adventurers and just puts the drinks down and says, "So, what information is this?"
I love the idea that you grab one away from someone sitting at the bar, and they're just like, "Hey, wait, hey!" Like, well, I'm not going to yell at her.
Just
Samrio
like
pours
as soon as
another
he
one for
turns
that
back
person.
around, there's another drink sitting right in front of him.
Yeah. So yeah, the guy kind of looks up, who's talking to these adventurers, look a little confused. He goes, "Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing." And one of the adventurers is a dwarf, fairly big guy, is just sitting there like. He was saying that Wrath's information doesn't check out.
Wrath? Oh,
Steve's character.
cool. She smiles and says, "What information is it?" I mean, I go down into the dungeon all the time. I mean, I live there.
The dwarf is like, well, yesterday he told us that, like, Wrath, what is something you would know about the early part of
Let's
the
see,
dungeon?
early part of the dungeon. Exactly.
Add to the wargaming.
All the traps on the first level. The leftmost choice is always the correct one to get past it. There's a couple like room spinning, trap type things. Or like, two keyholes and, one, lets out a lightning bolt, the other, lets you through. Yeah.
Simple enough for like the
first level
goblins and other things going
So
through.
is that
to
true,
know.
or was that a lie? That's one lie.
That would have been totally true.
Okay.
Oh, that's absolutely. Yeah. And the dwarf is like, well, he told us about this.
He looks at the person
Yesterday.
who's trying to, like, peddle themselves, I guess. We're trying to walk
Walk
away.
Yeah, he's just trying to
He
like
absolutely
move
just
back
like,
as you're talking to the
walks
dwarf.
over, puts an arm around him, and he's just like, "So, and what you saying this information is bad?"
I was just told that Wrath gave some information that was incorrect and nearly got someone killed. That's all I'm
You're
saying.
saying you have the correct information.
No, I'm saying I know someone
Who
who's
is this person?
got the correct information. I don't think I should.
Why?
Tell
I'm
you
not
who
loyal
that
to
person
Wrath.
is.
Wrath just stays here.
Make your roll to put the fear of God into him.
What am I rolling here?
So for you, first thing you'll do is you look at one of your values. Oh, God damn you for having what is love for the first part of your streaming, because now that song's in my head.
Would this be honesty? Or...
I think that,
Yeah.
that could work, because you know he's lying. So yeah, I think that works. Then you'd use one of your
so
relationships.
this would be with Wrath, I'm guessing.
Probably Wrath, unless you know where else it's coming from, that's a D4.
D4.
And you can use one of your distinctions.
God, which one's the D? Oh, there it is. I don't think any distinctions come up here.
Okay, so if none of those work, I mean, you could also look at things like the athletic could just be the fact that you are
Yeah,
tough,
could
or
actually,
your
my demon
your
nature, would
demon
that work?
nature
'Cause
by
I'm a demon
itself.
and, yeah, cool. Extra D4.
Yeah. Wait, D4 there. And the other thing you could do if you wished, so underneath that, you'll notice I put your locations and extras like a little bit separated, because you can use those. Those can also be used on top of what you've rolled.
I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is it for now.
Okay. So you go ahead and make your roll.
What the fuck?
All right, take a plot point. I'm going to add that D4 to the Doom pool.
What do plot points do again?
So plot points, you can use them for a number of things. Like they actually put on the character keeper. There's a little plot points tab. So basically, like you roll a complication, you roll one. I add that to the Doom pool, and then give you a plot point. If you ever use a distinction as a D4, if you choose to downgrade like something that's at least a D8, you can use it for a D4 and get a plot point. Some special effects will give you plot points as well. If you do something hysterical or awesome, we might award plot points. But beyond that, you can add more dice. If you want to add an extra trait to a roll, you can include more in the result, which is what Lloyd did, where Lloyd said, I'm going to use a plot point to pull in the third die that would have been an effect die. Because effect die is sort of like how hard or like how well you do once you hit with whatever it is. Certain special effects are acted by it. You can create a push die, like basically create an asset. Like it could be if you grab let's say for example you grabbed a mug of alcohol and then to like put it onto flame and use that for intimidation. You could roll use a plot point. Now you have an extra D6 because you're using that. If you're staying in a fight, if you've been taken out, if you want to share an asset you've created or bank one for another turn. We're not using the hero die in this one, but you can also create a D6 relationship or interfere in a contest with someone. So, you did not roll great. However, the Doom pool at this point did not have that D4, so it's not hugely high. Nope, he actually matched you, so did not beat you. Because you had a total of 8. He also rolled a total
is
of
a
8.
match different
The ones
to,
and
like,
ones don't
success?
count.
Okay.
He's trying to beat your total. So you basically set the difficulty, and he went punk, but did not beat it. So if he beats it, then it would then be your turn to try to see if you could beat that one. And so the role play continues back and forth. So he just goes, I got paid by someone over at the Angels Rest to just let people know that the bad information was being spread from here. That's all. That's all that's happening. I swear.
Oh, that's all, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I can leave. I don't have to come back. That's fine. I mean, you don't have to talk to Wrath or nothing.
Oh, fuck. I wanted to use her super strength to lift this guy into the air. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, not be user. And he's just sort of hanging up there. It's
What was this person's name at the inn?
Just it was one of the bartenders.
Damon.
Damon.
So I go to the Angel's Rest. Do I know a guy called that?
Yeah, he's one of the bartenders. He works for Moneybags.
She gently lowers him down and she says, "Oh, don't leave. Go buy yourself a drink, or 5. Or you'll use your money."
Okay. Yeah, and then he kind of heads towards the bar, and if you don't stop him, he is then going to pull ass out.
Yeah. She goes over to the noobish adventurers and just smiles and says, "Those drinks are in the house, by the way," and then walks over off. Yeah.
Okay.
I
You walk
think
over to where?
she's just gonna keep working for now.
Okay.
I think, as you walk by the bar, Samrio says, "I don't mind you comping, the boss's stuff, but, people don't tip on free drinks."
I think she just says, "Bill me."
Remember, you're the one who'd be getting the tips. Yeah, Wrath. You're
he was in his parlor.
you're in your office. There's a knock at your door.
What was that sound? Come in.
Door kind of opens. You see this kind of larger dwarf you were talking to yesterday. Kind of pokes his head in. Wrath Condonalis. I just thought you should know there was some guy trying to tell us that the information you gave us yesterday was crap, but that he was telling other people too. Nistara set us straight.
Well, she should have.
But he was talking to a bunch of people.
So, describe this man, Bark.
Well, he's kind of weedy. Tall, skinny. Looks like he ain't been fed as much as he should. Little bit pale. Greasy
Doesn't
hair.
sound like anyone I've worked with at this fine place.
Yeah. Actually, you're thinking there's a moment where you've had some run-ins with
Sounds like one of
Moneybags
her.
from time to time. She has a guy named Amhar, and the description so far sounds kind of like him. It's one of the little gophers that she has.
He mentioned if he was from the Angel's Rest.
No, he just said he had a friend who came in, got some information, was nearly killed. Like I said, I just wanted to let you know, Nastya set us straight, but I don't know who else he talked to.
I'll talk with him. Thank you, Bark. Next time,
Okay.
once you get past that first level and get stuck, come back, it'll be on me.
Awesome. I think we're going down next week. We're getting all our stuff ready. I mean, you've been great, so
Absolutely.
thanks.
Remember, don't forget that fire protection charm for that third trap.
Nope. And he kind of pulls out a little amulet. Nope, got it. Ready to go.
You'll do fine. You'll have enough money
So,
for a couple weeks.
See ya. Okay, and then he sort of heads back.
You know,
At Sikak Marble Chin, he and his group
Okay.
are nervous about going in. They may make it, they may not.
I was going to say,
What you were saying?
I think I need to go over to the Angel's Rest and have a talk with Moneybags.
Okay. I'm making some notes of these characters. All right, so you are okay. You head over to the Angel's Rest. Okay, Angel's Rest. Right across the street is a like meticulously kept up place. You go in. It's got like softer candle lighting. People are sort of talking quietly. Like this would be the smooth jazz bar of the fantasy era compared to your much more sort of fun, down to earth adventure bar. So you come in, the bartender's sort of working the place, cleaning some stuff, making a couple drinks, looks up. As I recall, you go there once in a while?
Yeah, on occasion.
Or was that the other people?
But we're not exactly friends, so I don't
Looks up and
make my habit to hang out here too much.
yeah. Okay, looks up and goes, getting a little tired of the Demon's Ruin? Want to come see how the other side lives?
Oh, I know how you live here. I was getting tired of hearing, the lies being put forth. Thought I'd talk to Misty myself. She in her office? As I walk back to her office.
No, Misty! And then with that,
Relationship with Misty.
just a moment. The elven bartender, Shinon, kind of goes back to serving some drinks.
I do.
You barge into her office. Okay, boom, just sort of head in. She is, yep. So she's sitting there and she's got a large book in front of her. She's making some notes and such in it, and she just sort of looks up, and I don't recall having an appointment.
I don't recall asking for one.
Oh, this is my business. So, Wrath, how can I help you?
What's with you sending Amhar over to start bad-mouthing my trade? That's low even for you.
Go ahead and make a roll.
Okay, what do I have? I have attention. People should come to me for knowledge. My money bag's Misty. Hardly a threat to my enterprise. I still don't consider her a threat on this. I guess if that would have taken hold, I would have considered it a threat.
She is working her way.
Yep,
You
and
challenge that.
I think I'm going to mention. I'm like,
Someday.
I could have a priest of Sabras here in less than an hour, and cast a truth curse on you that would last till the end of your days. I'm getting tired of your shit. So I'm going to be using my connected with that.
Okay.
Clear. And that missed one of my dice. Let's see. Missed my D12. So I'm just going to roll that separate. save the D12 for the effect. So 12 with effect die of D12. I think. No, effect die of D10.
Okay. So I'm going to have her make her roll also. Wrong thing here. So yeah, at that point, when you start mentioning that her eyes go a little bit wide. But I'm going to use her mastermind, so take a plot point. What it says is she sort of smiles. At that point, I mean, we'll see how... Oh, shoot. I hit clear instead of roll. She goes...
Savros.
The priest was Scarvos? Or Savros. And she goes, just so happens, and she sort of pulls... she spins it around using her mastermind. The plot point means that she's able to use that. And I'm also going to have her roll for with the inn, because she needs to... For the extras, she needs to win this. So 12, yeah. Yeah, I bet she used one of those once. She goes, just so happens, I just had had them in here for a fairly hefty bit of bribe that went into some people in the little higher up in the church. So I don't know how you're planning on necessarily having them come and do that to me. And I don't know what's going on with any sort of lies being spread about you. So she now has an 18. She's not going to try to take, because you can do the above 5 or more to take out, but she's not trying to do that.
She's going to sit with an 18.
Yeah, so she just sits there and smiles, and she goes, if you have any proof of something, I would love to find out if someone's using my name in ways I certainly wouldn't approve of.
She's not using the taken out, but I can elect to bow out of the scene, can I, before taking stress?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll spend.
A plot point for that.
I'm going to spend a plot point and say, "You haven't heard the last of this," and I'll storm out.
Oh, let me check. I may have to, we'll go there right now. I'll double check later on, because I think you can only not take stress if you haven't.
Well, then I can take stress too.
But okay. No, you can also see if you can try to beat.
Yeah.
It goes back and forth.
Let's see. Do I want to continue this fight on her turf? Sure, I'll try one more. Like, you know, they come to me for knowledge of the dungeons. They come to you for the rest of this forsaken city. Like, we don't need to be at odds here. And if we ever were at odds, you know I could have this place shut down. You know that the officer of, in charge of, what would be an officer in charge of inn management, like a bureaucrat?
The liquor commission?
You know that the liquor commission officer used to be one of my old adventuring buddies. All it would take is, and he snaps his fingers. Snap. Just a minute. And then you wouldn't be getting any clientele, because they're not going to stay for and he looks out at, probably hearing, like a flute solo or something, the ambiance. So I'm going to try back with, I think, much the same roll. Keep on losing my dice. Apologize. Hmm. I am going to spend a plot point to gain this as a 2-8 location. That's fine.
Remember, it'll just be 1d8 at this point
Yep.
because then it's been
Yeah,
used
and
once.
I'm-
But that'll
I'm
mean she can't use it.
Pointing
after
out,
this.
like, the fact that, this is like a smooth jazz place that, like, clientele really wouldn't be coming to unless it was for, for the liquor.
Mhm.
And let's see if that's any better. Did that roll? It did roll. Okay, so how do I clear the stuff on the table? Just delete it?
Oh, you can just like highlight it, hit delete.
And
Well, also
Another-
grab yourself
another plot point.
a plot point for the D4. Y'all are giving me D4s in the Doom pool.
Okay, so I'm at 19 with a 4 effect.
Oh, man. All right. So and that actually seems to get to her just a little bit. Especially when you mention them taking things, possibly taking some stuff down, and she's might be good for you to remember that you may know the liquor commissioner, but as you said, I'm the person that everyone else knows. And they come to me for everything else. Did I miss one of them? That's odd. That missed. It will not get enough to high, but I think it missed a D8.
Yeah, sometimes it
I'll
seems
roll
like there's a
instead.
delay in the roller.
Oh, a 17 against your 19. The most you could do, even with giving you a plot point, is
Just
to
tie it.
is to match but not beat. Yep. And so she goes, but if any of my people are talking, I'll make sure they stop. Are we done?
We're done. Might I suggest employing someone
Your
more subtle than Amhar?
Yeah. And she kind of. He will be dealt with. What do you want to make that a stress?
Let's make it for her. Let's do insecure.
Okay. Oops.
I don't think I threatened her livelihood enough to make her afraid, but I've definitely put her on notice that I'm watching her people.
All right. She's now got a D10 insecure. As you are heading back, and this is, do we have? Oh, actually, if we don't mind, what I'd like to do is have something with all the other three of you, and then when Wrath gets in, he'll be kind of coming across the street and probably hear what's happening relatively quick. Would it be cool taking just a couple minutes to like use the bathroom, get drinks and stuff? Okay. We'll take a few.
So I missed that very last scene with Wrath at the other place. A quick recap: what happened?
I walked in, told her to
Wrath,
stop
go
messing with my place. She pointed, I threatened her with the priest of truth to cast a curse on her to always tell the truth from now until the end of her days. She mentioned she had just bribed that priesthood for just yesterday. So I threatened to have my friend at the liquor commission shut her down used her place against her and said, because they're not coming here for the ambiance, and and there was like a flute solo in the background, because it's a smooth jazz type of bar.
Oh, so when we say she, who are we talking about? Moneybags?
Moneybags Misty.
Okay.
So she initially, I did a little, it's a little meta, but the second time a location is used, it stops anyone else from being able to roll that location. So she used it in her first roll, and I used it against her.
Okay.
Because I have a trigger on my connected that allows me to use a location that's not my own. Like anywhere for 2 to 8. So I set that up and then used it against her.
Okay.
Luckily, rolled high enough.
So is she like an employee there, or does she just sell?
She owns. Doesn't she run it? The Angel's Rest.
Yeah, Misty is.
Yeah, I was checking the same thing
real quick. Yeah, Misty's thing with that is, I know she's a rival information broker.
Okay.
She doesn't actually own it. That's Nixtra the Bloody, I believe, but she works for Nixtra.
So she has a similar office like mine, just in the Angel's Rest.
And the nice thing is, you also kind of determined that, and I'll make the note on her sheet real quick, that your biggest thing of knowledge is the dungeons. Hers is kind of everything else. So she knows the city more.
Yeah, I think more people. Yeah, more people come to her.
If they were to take over
stuff about the city, they come to me for stuff about adventuring.
Okay.
And I have a feeling she wants in on my market, because she can buy someone who has knowledge of the adventuring side.
All right, so I think everybody's back. Okay, so at this point, everyone's had an opportunity to at least play with the system a little bit and see how the dice rolls work. One thing to keep in mind, and this is he mentioned the metagame aspect of it. That actually can work in really cool ways. In this game, one of the biggest things, if you end up rolling against one of your values, if you have a value that says, I must always tell the truth, and you're put in a position where you have to lie, what you can do is challenge it, so you triple it. Then what you do is that size die goes into your growth pool, and it goes for one session. It's essentially stepped down for the rest of the session, one die size, and you have to decide: do you keep it at that level and not change it? In which case, if it's a value, something else goes up. And then it adds once again to the growth pool, or do you rewrite it so that you are starting to change your views on things? So a great way to power game, but to make interesting things happen, is, especially with other characters or something, give yourself the wrong idea of who they are. So that way it puts you in a position where you can challenge your thoughts and then develop along those ways. Okay. Also, I changed those 2d4 for the 1d4 when it added it in there. Instead of adding an extra d4 to the Doom pool, I use that to raise up the d4 to a d6, to just step that up by one. So, there are at the bar, and this starts off with Samrio. Lexi, you're working some tables and such. Proprietor, are you still hauling?
I'm probably now in my office upstairs with the glasses on and writing away at paperwork and trying to understand human language.
so much easier if the runes can literally speak to you. Okay, so you're all sitting there in Samrio. There are about 5 guys come in. An elf, a dwarf, a human. Basically, like, there is sort of what you call the adventurer standard. Like, just the generic of young adventuring party, the ones that sort of hang around the upper parts of the dungeon. You see them come and go a lot, so some of them you remember. A lot of them, I mean, good lord. Really, a fighter, a cleric, a thief, and a mage start to look the same after a while. And you don't quite recognize them, but it's clear very quickly. They're probably someone who's gone through recently and not done particularly well. As the 4 of them, or the 5 of them, are kind of just at the bar. And one of them sort of looks at you. Hey, bartender.
Yeah, what can I get you?
I came through here about a week ago. Someone came through and they stole what we had while we're in the dungeon.
Look,
I think you all
I
should
just
do
run the bar
something
here,
about
bub.
that.
What happens down there, I got nothing to do with.
Nothing to do with, huh?
This holiday, my son needs a new phone.
So at that point... Okay, it's a name generator page that has a thing playing. So he goes, "No, I think it's something you should do." And then he sort of takes, like, the beer from a guy next to you and then tries to throw it at you.
Never mind.
Oh, 2 ones. So, okay, dude is pissed, and you can tell pretty quickly, already a little drunk. The guy sitting next to him at the bar is like, it's the same one. It's the same one that Lexa had taken.
He took his beer again to throw it.
Yeah, and he only had like a drink or so. When the guy goes, "Hey!"
Oh, did he actually throw it?
What do you do? Well, he like basically tried not like whips it, but basically like tries to throw the
No,
beer on
none
you.
of that. That's it. Out. Out. You're cut off. No
Out?
drinks. Come back when you're sober. That's why you lose your crap in the dungeon. Is because you just throw it around.
I said, go ahead, make.
Okay.
Make your roll.
I think I'm gonna use. Even though it's not very high, I'm gonna use authority. So that's a D4.
Mhm.
And then for relationships, I think I'm going to use the proprietor for the relationship.
I think that's fair.
Mhm.
So that is a D10.
It's like, one, you don't want to piss me off. You certainly
Right.
don't want to piss off.
And
me.
I think I'm going to go with if I use Not Born Yesterday and step it down to a D8, okay, I get a plot point, all right? Is that how that works?
Oh no, you can basically take it as a D4. What happened? Those are in positions where you're
Okay.
essentially it works against you. So if you have at least a D8, you can always choose to take it at a D4. It means that you are too cynical or something in those cases.
Well, it says when confronted with a problem that defies normal common sense. And I'm sorry, throwing.
Oh no, you can use the D8. It doesn't lower it down. It just means once you
Oh,
get
okay,
the
okay, I
D8,
got it. So yeah,
that
I'm
is
gonna set that
unlocked.
down to a D4. Because this person is defying normal common sense when
Okay.
you're in a demon's place and you start throwing crap around.
I think that's legit.
Well, no, you actually can
Okay.
keep it at a D10. What he's saying is you can use the trigger
Yeah, it just
anytime after you've achieved like a D8 in the die step.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, you'd actually have to have
Mhm.
a D12 in order to use that last trigger.
Mm-hmm.
But you can roll your D10, but then get the benefit of that D8 trigger whenever you want.
Okay, so I'm rolling a D10 on it, and the opposition gets a D6. Is what it says. I give them a D6.
Yep. So I'm adding to the Doom pool
Okay.
a D6. You also get a plot point.
All right, let's roll
For
this.
And if you also wanted, you've got like the demons roll in, or you can save that for if things escalate.
Yeah, I think I'll hold off on that. And let's roll.
Okay.
So I got double 8s for my 2 higher.
All right. So basically, you've got the. I mean, you wouldn't even need that, but they're not a thing. So you've got the. Not really an effect dice you have to put on them right now. So you just telling that guy to get out on there, or do you like dodge the?
Well, I think he pretty much like
Dodge.
threw beer. Like, he got beer on me. Like, I think he slung the beer and it like got beer on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty much like, using my authority, like, get out. I'm the bartender. You're not going to get anything from me, especially now. Get out before, somebody that's not human comes down here.
Okay. Yeah, so on this one, he starts to like looking around. Other people are starting to look at them, and he backs up a little bit because you've got like at the very least a 12 against their 9 or a 16 with a D4. The effect die doesn't matter too much here. They kind of back up a little bit. Lexa, if you kind of look over, you see probably a soaping wet Samrio and like 5 pissed off adventurers, sort of maybe rethinking themselves a little bit.
Yeah, I think she's gonna give them just a little bit of a scare, because she's gonna go up behind them without them like knowing it's her, and she's gonna put on like a proper demon voice. Just be like, "Do we have a problem?"
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like scare them.
Right, make your roll. Yeah, so they're starting to back up. And do me a favor, for what you rolled before, go ahead and I'll go ahead and add a complication to them. D4 terrified. So you get to add that to yours.
So do I? Sorry, I'm still confused about rolling. Do I always roll a value?
Always, basically, if you go through, with the exception of stress, if you go through all the ones with the black bars. Yeah, actually, let me go ahead and do this for you too. I will go ahead and put a little black bar thing for
So
extras and locations.
Yeah.
Because
Okay,
and I'll make a
so
note.
I think I got- this will be authority. I'll use the proprietor relationship, maybe, because I'm trying to pretend that I'm actually the proprietor. Just to give him just put on like big demon voice.
Well, I will say they're probably going to know you're not,
yeah.
but they're also going to know you are his half daughter.
This is kind of daring, right? Triggers and special
Yep.
effects. So, tell me how the triggers and special effects work on distinctions.
All right, so with your daring, you have a D6, so you can only really use the D4 one if you want to. So what'll happen is when you roll, like if it gets up to D8, then you can use the D8 or the D4. So when you roll it at the end, what you can do is add a D6 to trouble to re-roll the D6 for daring. So basically, it's like you try all stuff, it causes other
specifically
problems.
it's re-roll
But you
any
can do
die
cool
in the
shit.
daring roll. So.
Oh, true, yeah. Yeah, because part of me thinks like, you don't
Demon
like
as
mark
well.
dice when you roll them.
Extras and
If you're using two distinctions, you need to use a
Right. Let's see.
a plot
Yeah,
point
let's
to
screw
roll
that.
in the second one.
Extras and locations. I guess I'll use Demon's Ruins in because I
Yeah,
work
the extra
here.
locations.
Like, I again more authority stuff.
Okay.
I have to remember you've used that. Has that been used once or twice?
This is the first time.
Got it.
And
This is just
roll
the first
those
time.
afterwards, not beforehand, because they get added on.
Oh,
Yeah, they basically tacked onto your total as opposed to being another die you add to your total. You just tack it on because you'll then choose the two highest of what you roll,
so
and
let me
then
just
add
roll
in your
those
extra
ones
location.
first, and then
Yikes.
I roll. Oh, great! I love it.
Oh!
I just wanted to complicate.
It's going to be a problem.
everyone's life.
Now I want to see the 2die4 and see if those are ones too.
Okay, so I would say this. Go ahead. Because you rolled 3, you still only get 1 plot point, but I do get to basically turn a D6 into a D8. Oh, then I get to roll another
Just watch them just become like
D6.
major like antagonists of the series, guys.
they've just become a little more problematic because of that roll. That's like Leverage, which is also a Cortex Plus game. Basically, the GM doesn't have to plan much. You just wait for ones to roll, and then shit happens. Okay, so you've only got a 6, which is not a whole lot.
Holy shit!
Okay, so for that, the 5 effect die. One of them sort of turns, and it's the mage and just like and a prismatic color spray like shoots out of his hand. It's like no, we're gonna have to see what's done right. So right now it's trying to attack you. Your total was a 6. So they're not gonna. They could do a thing to take you out because it's above 5, but they're not doing that. You would now get to sort of roll for to see if you can beat
14.
their 14.
Cool.
I believe in you.
It's like the whole time Samrio is just going, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, I would say about this point, Lloyd, you hear it, and I would say, Raph, while you're walking back, you sense active magic.
I'll do the thing of like putting my glasses down and putting the case and covering it, and then slowly starting to make my way downstairs.
Cool. So, how the hell do you add values to a fight?
Well, the values are always sort of why you're doing something, how you're approaching it. So in your case, I mean, some of this could be. What are yours?
I love how min-maxed I am.
Doesn't matter if you roll for shit though.
Well, the great thing is what min-max does. It lets you create drama when you get in. It's like Apocalypse World when someone like check marks the things you're not good at. When you get involved in those, because if you do too well all the time, you never get stressed, which means your growth pool never really you don't grow. Well, your authority on the one hand, they are. Authority is probably the one that makes the most sense here, because it's not like they're trying to talk to you, so attention doesn't quite work.
He's dead. He died. He died on his own planet. Goodbye. We miss you.
Did it. We won, guys.
He's back. We won, guys. We did it. It's over now. Yay.
Yeah, we beat the dungeon master.
We beat the game. So looking at your stuff, authority probably makes the most sense because you are in your own bar, this place where you work, and these dipshit adventurers who should know better come in, and they're being a pain in the ass. Now, one of them is just trying to prismatic spray you.
So yeah, I'll use authority. Again, I'm the stepdaughter of the actual owner of this place. I'm athletic fast. also going to use. No, I think I'll just stick to athletic fast. Then again, I do want to win this. Extras locations.
Well, if you wanted to use the Demon's Ruin in again, you could use. It would only be 1d4 this time, but it would take that out essentially.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Okay, so
Okay.
D6, D4, D12.
Alternately, instead of the inn, I mean, you could actually use Ronan if he was, trying to, save
Is he
you.
still there?
Just because
No, Ronan at this
it
point
allows
is
him to
sort
use, his assistants if he
Wait,
was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be hanging out if you want to throw him in there to have him try. Hey man, that's my
Oh,
girl.
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, but it's only one die because I use Ronan earlier as well.
Still,
Cool. A D6.
That's still one that from a Twinkie point of view, the D6 is better than the D4. It also
think
makes for a more fun.
technically on extras and locations, you're only supposed to take the highest die when you roll it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why he only had a 4 for the previous.
Okay, so let me just double make sure I've got everything correct here. So D6 for authority, D4. That, then D12. Yeah. Oh fuck. Then one more D6.
I believe in you.
10, 14, 15, 16, 17?
Well, because
Okay.
you take the highest 2, you can spend plot points to add
Can
an
I do
extra
that?
die to your total. So
I
the
have
total they have there is
14 right
14. You would have to
Nope.
you'd have to spend 2 plot
I
points.
think the location or extras is added in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. You spend 1 plot point,
Well, let's go.
that'll put you up above them. Okay. So if you want to drag yours, so what'll happen is you'll have a D4 effect die. If you don't have an effect die there, default is a D4. So all 3 of yours will end up being part of your total.
So what's the effect?
So tell me what you do. Well, the effect die is going to be if you don't have an effect die because you've used all of yours on the actual thing, because that 3 gets added. If there's no effect die down there, it's automatically considered a D4. Okay, so tell me what you did again.
Okay, so this guy's prismatic blasting me. Is that just like a mana bolt type situation? Like it just hurts?
Yeah, basically, like it's a spell that. I'll be honest. Part of me is just I've not actually played D&D since Dark Sun.
No,
was
it's just a
relatively
hurty.
new. So, but yeah, because we're definitely using like Faerun has been brought in. We're using some of those things. Just like a spell. Like if someone's like, that's not technically what that does, I'm gonna screw that up because there's some things I remembered. I just remember like prismatic spray was.
I mean, I
useful
think
enough
the
in different
shape he was
ways that I
making was
often
more of a
forget about
prismatic
it.
orb, but
Oh
it's
my
been a long
God!
time.
Technically, prismatic spray is that.
It's like a
You were
cone
doing
and it's gonna
this.
hurt. And it's prismatic.
Yep.
So this is just a reaction. So I like it's not an action, right? It's
No, it's essentially because your reaction if you beat them, so they're gonna then have to try to beat you again.
Oh, okay.
So it does a back and forth until essentially stress is inflicted. So it can kind of keep going up before someone gets a bit of a whammy.
how pissed with it. Yeah, she's gonna just like spin out of the way. Oh, I forgot to say that she also has classic demon tail. As she spins, her tail wraps around a chair and just launches it at this guy.
Nice.
How did Ronan
So at
tie
that
in with
point-
that? Since you rolled a Ronan dice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh. I'll say Ronan comes in and tries to grab it. Stay away from my girl! Like really loud. Let's see. Yeah, they're not going to be able to beat that. So you got the D4. So we'll build that up. That D4 will then get their terrified up to a D6 on there because as you hit the one of them, it goes poof, and he just sort of goes down under a chair. We'll say there is one less adventurer left at this point. As one of them goes down, proprietor, you come out to see her spinning and whipping a chair at one of these like drunk dipshit adventurers who seem to have picked a fight at the wrong time.
I come up like, what is the meat? And I stop and I see her whipping a chair. I'm like, carry on.
You just then go do your thing.
In charge. I'm trying to raise her to be a good person. I mean, like a good demon. So I think she's doing great. You go, girl.
So what you could do if you want to, you could make a roll to essentially create an asset
it's going to be stepdad's watching. If I can actually make the roll.
Fuck.
Okay.
So yeah, that'd be an asset that you'd be able to use.
Hold up. Could I stress her over me watching? I'm gonna do that.
I was
Yes.
going to say it would absolutely like.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna roll against her in this fight for me watching to make sure she does this right. To stress her out. You're doing great. Give a thumbs up, like
Okay.
Yes. Let's see if I can actually get a roll. I don't know what I'm trying to beat, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
Remember, you would be so yeah. In player versus player, what we'll do is whoever starts it off, we'll just put under player total, and then so Lexi, you'll put yours under GM total. Yeah, so remember, like if you get stress here, that essentially becomes not just hilarious, but also becomes growth.
Cool, it's good for you. All right. All right. Let me pull up my die, and I will do that. So I'm looking at once I clear everything. Why does the clear button not work?
It takes a second.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay.
Lies, all lies.
Mine happens pretty instantaneously, but
Nah, it's not going. I'll just do it manually. It's fine. I don't need it. It's only pain. All right. So let me see. This case, I'm doing my duty, so I'm gonna go for that. It's with my wonderful daughter 8. I can't challenge that because she does a little bit of toughening up. And I am going to... Oh, I don't know what to go for my thing, but I feel I want to go for big-hearted because I see she's doing really well. I want to encourage her. She's doing great. Is that okay for justification or something else?
that sounds good. Especially, I love the fact that Lex is like, that would be worse, and you're like, yes, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Excellent.
Okay.
Nope, that's it.
Attention.
That's everything I got.
Cool.
All right. Good luck.
So who's rolling first?
I guess I'll roll first.
Oh, so Lloyd will make his roll because he's the one who's basically trying to put a bit of a whammy on you by good luck. Oh, great! Now things are awkward.
that's not too bad.
Oh.
You can handle that.
Damn!
Yep.
Oh my god, is that a 15 with a D4? Or you get to decide where you put those. So you can decide how big you want
It's only a
the
D10.
effect die to be.
D10 should be fine.
Oh, that sounds like a whole
Yeah,
lot of
it's fine.
insecure
Look
is
it.
my guess.
Good luck.
Possibly coming your way. Wait.
Yeah,
just do the
I'm
good
like,
luck?
doing good. Yes.
So would this come under attention? Like, I'm getting attention.
I
yeah.
believe so. That sounds
So,
fantastic.
D12. My relation.
Or actually, wait. Do you want to challenge your attention? Because right now the problem, because like your attention literally says it's cute that they're all paying attention to me or something very close to that. So now what you don't want is his attention. So if you challenge it, what happens is you roll 3d12, put one of those D12 into your growth pool, and for the rest of the session, it's stepped down by 1. And my guess is you're probably going to keep it where you're going to keep the. Let me just double check something real quick. Because if you challenge it,
Do
pardon me, I
I
always
do I
can't
need to
quite
spend something
remember
to challenge?
which one does which.
Nope.
I got to put it. No, to challenge it, you just. Oh, that's right. I made this thing, this cheat sheet to help. Yeah, so when you challenge it. So when you challenge it, if you had contrary to the statement, you automatically triple it, and then it's for the rest of it, it's essentially step down by 1. At the end of the session, but basically what you can do is either rewrite it to reflect a new belief or truth, and the die returns to its original rating, or you can keep it the same and it remains stepped back, and since it's a value, something else would go up. So you don't have to challenge it, but it's something you could do.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So when you challenge it, so you roll the 3, it'll be considered a D10 for the rest of the session, and you can put a D12 into your
3d12. Do I
your
put
growth
a
pool.
d12 into the growth pool or the result of a d12 into?
You just put the growth pool is a number of dice, so just a D12.
So that, then my relationship with him, which is a 1. I don't think I have any good distinctions for this. Cool.
And I'll just highlight your thing to show that it's been challenged.
Fuck!
Good for you,
Oh!
good for you, don't worry about it.
Well, you still have
the
you still
fun
have
part here
one plot
is
point left, don't you?
I think I have 2 left.
the other thing is also remember, like, you getting that stress can be good for you as far as growth stuff goes. So if you want to take the stress, you can go. Otherwise, what you can do is spend some plot points to use more in there, to use another one.
No, I want to take this. Yeah, I'm not going to spend any plot points or anything, so I'm going to take the stress.
Okay, so that I'm assuming, Lloyd, that's insecure. Yep. So yeah, go ahead and put a D12 in your insecure pool. Yeah, so in the growth pool up at, or rather the stress pool at the top, just put a D12 in insecure.
So in the growth pool. Yeah.
Yeah, so where it says die rating under growth, so insecure, put a D12. Now, if someone were to raise that insecure up, another one, you'd be taken out. But like, let's be honest, these douchebag this is not that douchebag adventure, but these idiot adventurers are not gonna be making you insecure probably,
Yeah.
unless things go really, really weird here in a bit. Okay, yeah. So you see like good old dad sitting up there, like, or stepdad, like, you got this. Probably a good point. Raph,
Yeah,
you want to be coming in about this point?
And these adventurers are getting trounced.
One
Is
of them got
is that basically what I'm walking into?
Well, you're walking through. There's like one of them is like underneath a chair that is broken. You see that.
Yeah, so I maybe see the after effects of the spell.
Nastya.
Those cast towards Nastya.
Yeah. You see, so like the prismatic spray hits, like hits maybe someone else behind them. Ow!
Like, now what the hell's going on here? I look over towards the proprietor, like, and look back to the adventurers. I'm like, do you really think a prismatic spray would have done anything against a half-demon blooded woman? What sort of idiot are you? Like, get out of here.
Are you stupid? What? Push it, noobs.
You want me to make a roll against him? Just so we all We all roll against him.
Yeah. Basically, what you want to do is take them up to take them out.
Let's see.
They have a D6 right now.
What value should I use? I'm going to challenge honesty because I am actually being honest with him. Like a prismatic spray would have done nothing to her. Should have just shrugged it off. I'm going to use my relationship with Nastaya since I will take care of her since I got her old employer killed. And I'm going to use my genius. Because really they're idiots. Let's see, that's 1 d10, 2d10, d8. And can someone clear the dice on the player total, Lloyd? Or GM?
Oh, I got that. Done.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
You were challenging something, weren't you? Shouldn't you have 3?
Yeah, roll 2 more d10. No, leave that there just in case.
Well, hell.
I'll go with that.
Oh, yep, that's not going to come anywhere near. Do you want to just take them out?
I will
since
take
you're
them
above
out.
5? Okay.
I
So
think
at
I
that
think I
point,
almost
the
like
4 that are
almost
sort
do
of
the,
left
the
up.
Gandalf thing where I just seem bigger, like they might have actually know who I am. Or
Oh shit, it's that dude. Yeah, the 4 of them sort of back to back. They're just sort of terrified. They're looking over at Nastaya, and then over there, and then over at you. And then, sadly, I don't know if Samrio is hurt, but they're not checking
I think
out the
Samrio's
huge
too
bartender.
like busy yelling at Ronan, like, "Don't get involved."
Dad, you gotta stick up for your girl. Yeah, and then the 4 of them that are sort of left up, like one of them tries to like grab his friend. Do you let them all go, or what do you all do? Like they are at this point essentially taken out.
I think that's the proprietor's decision.
I don't do anything,
I
so.
look over at the person who did all this, and I look over at the station, and I'm like, I look gesture like it's her choice. If you want to fight, she should decide.
Insecure. Yeah, I think she would just, like, after a moment, just say, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah, they fall over themselves trying to get out and like drag their buddy out as well. Yeah, one of the guys who got hit by the there's like one of the things like the door to the thing adventurers sort of hook their head in, and you see a cleric sees the guy who got hit and is actually coming over to like cast light wounds, or heal light wounds rather on him.
She walks over to Ronan and like
Mhm.
gets up in his face and says, "Stop calling me your girl," and then walks off.
He's just like, what?
Yeah, she goes down into the basement, I think.
And
Yeah.
yeah, kind of just skulks off. All right, so at this point, is they pulled themselves out. Some people are going to clean stuff. What are you all doing?
I like find like a mage that knows a wind spell and is like using this mage's magic to like dry my clothes.
Oh, did you actually walk into the adventurous part? I did, for fun, like, what do you do when you walk in? We'll roleplay a little bit.
Yeah, I look for like a mage that I know that's like a regular that comes in, is like somebody that like goes to the deep levels. I know like knows like a shit ton of spells.
Yeah, you see one. He's pretty drunk, but the thing is, it doesn't necessarily make it difficult for them to cast some of the spells. Quite so much. I mean, sometimes it does, but Shalma, one of the mages, kind of looks over. Severett? What happened to
Just
you,
a
Samrio?
little barkeep mishap. It happens. It happens. You remember being a noob, right? We just had to deal with some noobs.
Young and oh, that was the. Are they alive?
No.
Did they kill
Yeah.
them?
I mean, luckily, the boss didn't get involved. I was actually happy about that. But
Well,
yeah, but
Yeah, I don't smell burnt
his
flesh.
stepdaughter kind of taking after him a little bit.
well, it's good to see you're okay.
Yeah. Do you think you could help
You
me
are
out with that? You
dripping
got like a
wet.
little minor cyclone spell or something you can use to dry me off real quick so I get back to work?
Yes, guys. And what he does is he's got these two fighters on either side, and they grab your arms. And there's two other people, like kind of like you're in the doorway, and it's like, okay, make a tunnel all the way. Okay,
I'm looking super worried.
okay. Let's see. No, it'll be fine. Just hold him. For the love of the gods. Hold. Just like four of them, and you're sort of in the doorway. He's like. And like, there's a part of you, like, if they weren't holding you, your ass would have flown. You notice one of them's got like a girdle of giant strength. Thank God. Because you would have, like, gone flying.
Yeah, I like how
into
my
the
face
street.
kind of looks like a skydiver. The wind's like
whoever's-
buffeting my face.
Who's ever in a position to look at the street, because they actually cleared away some of the, because weird stuff like this just happens on occasion. They're like, they cleared the stuff up so there's just a straight shot. You see some poor old woman like just walking, all right, wow! Just goes like flying across into some bushes, sort of across the way. And it's like, you
Yeah,
feel that?
thank you. I think I have to go comb my beard now.
He comes over like high five each other and comes like, that was awesome.
yeah,
You should
I hope we
totally
don't.
do that again.
I have to.
And he goes back and grabs himself a seat. All right, who's next? What are you like? If each of you let me know. Part of this also be sort of the things that you do, sort of day to day, so we can get a bit of a
As
feel.
everything clears up, I sort of look around and I look over at Mistia and I sort of nod quietly. And then as he's going to go dry himself, I have to take that slot. So I come on down there to the actual bar because I'm tired of working on paperwork all day. I'm exhausted. I just need to relax. And I'm starting to I'm at the bar and I'm actually pouring drinks for customers. Of course, when I start pouring
Yeah.
drinks, they're usually quite warm. But that's just the way it has to be.
Who wants? What are some of the
we
actual
have
fiery
we have
drinks?
we have actual fire wine, as in the wine is actually on fire and you have to cool it down to drink it. That's one of our main things. Most of our spirits are heat based, so all of your strong whiskeys or strong bourbon stuff like that. But a lot of our more exotic stuff come from the dungeons themselves, from like the walls and like small saps within it, and that's like the exquisite stuff for your heartier adventurer. For the guys who really want to get wasted, and those are the stuff that even I don't touch.
Yes. Oh, that would be amazing. Spirits with actual spirits.
Maybe not that.
Like you might get possessed by
They're
it
like
for
a
a short
novelty.
time.
Sometimes we do deals on Christmas.
Right. Yep. So as you're sitting there, Lexa. We didn't
No,
forget
we never
Lexa's
said-
mother's name.
Because there wasn't my place to say it.
And she's never not gonna say mum. And actually, fuck, would she say mum or start using like her actual name as like fucking Teenage Rebellion shit?
You should find Carol. I'll write on that.
I'm terrible with names.
I use name generators like crazy. My iPad's in the other room though. But I did pull up a site if you want a name.
Demon name generator.
This is a human lady.
Oh, she's human, right?
Yeah.
Do you have an ethnicity you want to go with name wise? There's a ton of them here. Oh, this would be hilarious. Let's go with the Puritan name. So, we probably won't use some of these, but Placidia Stoddard, Fortune Larkford, Tenacious Hildersham.
Yes. And Hildersham.
Just Bernard. And Hildersham. Okay, that will be, if you want to change that in your character keeper, and Hildersham is Mystia's mother's name.
Cool.
Which is fantastic. So, proprietor, and this is what I wanted to ask. I forgot about this. So you have a thing with Nixtra the Bloody has an on again, off again romance with Anne Hildesham. Is that still going on? Are you poly or is it?
I don't know if the proprietor did they marry? I can't remember.
We're engaged, but we're not married.
Engaged. Okay.
So do you two want that to be an on again, off again thing that's still happening, or was it an old thing, or are you poly? Are you?
Well, I don't. I'm a demon. I don't really know the customs of human beings, so I can't stop them, unfortunately. So if she's like, actually, maybe we're together, maybe we're not. I'm like, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Let's take it the other way around. We're going through a tough time currently.
Oh, great.
And we are having a bit of an argument, and she's not coming home, and I don't know why, and I don't know how to apologize. But her daughter's still here, and she won't talk to me, and I don't know what to do.
Okay. In which case, I will not have her come and talk to you. No, it's fine. But Pele Carcosa comes in and is like, well, looks like you had yourself some adventures here.
What do I owe you the displeasure?
Well, I was coming in to get a drink, see my friend Samrio. He's kind of looks over at the doorway, because apparently he's getting wind blown right about now.
Can I get you anything that you'll be paying for?
Yeah, I could some mead would be nice. I'm going to have to come in here probably in the next month or two
An
do
inspection.
inspection. I mean, you usually do pretty well.
We had our last inspection 2 months ago.
check.
They're not supposed to be due for every 6 months. Why do you want to know now?
Well, I'll check the books. I mean, I do a lot of inspecting. Maybe I just forgot. I've been here enough, talking to Samrio. So, anyway, yeah, this is, you got a little bit of blood on the floor there. I don't know if that's for code.
How about we go up to my office and we talk about this? How about we speak about this privately?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. I guess.
Sanrio!
Samrio comes running in, and his huge beard, is like split. He's like trying to get his beard in order. Yeah, boss. Yeah, I'm coming. Sorry.
Rumble all the way up the stairs like. And I'll take him upstairs.
Okay. And then just chat over
I'm not
things.
gonna roll with that.
We'll
I
play
know
that
we're
and
gonna jump,
whatnot.
stay on me, go somewhere else. That's why.
Okay. Let's come over here a little bit. So, Wrath, are you just going back to the place, or what do you do when you come back?
Let's see. Time has passed. Keep going back to his parlor. I'm just trying to think whether I ask Adon in or not. Yeah, I'll end up asking Adon to have a word.
Okay. Adon's kind of comes in and is still staying like a little bit distant from you as it comes in. So, well, that was a little bit of the old you.
Like, tell you I haven't changed. I'm just lacking in the areas that you find valuable. As to this possession nonsense, and I flip open my my tome of knowledge, which is bound in purple dragon skin, which is reflected in the portrait behind me. Like, I'm telling you, this will only lead to either my death or losing any semblance of who I was. Look at this. Look at this. Like, why won't you? No, I know why you won't. I need you to ask Astara. You're a high priest here. You should have an open connection. I need you to talk to her.
Do you think I have not asked and prayed and done anything I could to get you your magic back?
Maybe your intent isn't pure to her.
Do you
Maybe you're spending so much time trying to wish for who I was and not ask for why. So I'm definitely trying to pressure him to try a different avenue of attack.
Yeah, I go. Okay, so yeah, so you're escalating that if you want to make the roll for that.
I'm actually going to use my love, even though it's a low stat, because true love knows no barriers.
Oh.
I'll use my relationship with him, and I think I'm going to challenge it because he's proved that he's not really into it if I don't have magic. So let me just highlight that. And then I'm using my Tome of Knowledge, so I'm referencing what I'm doing here, and I'm also going to use my private parlor because I have access to all this information here. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5d8 and 2d10.
Damn.
It's not allowing me to clear my dice. There it goes. Those are my d8s.
Get rid of the ones on the table.
These are my die 10s. So I'll do that. And so 18 with a 4 effect.
And go ahead, take a plot point for those ones.
So many plot points.
She goes, or he goes, really? I'm not asking for the right reasons. The you that you used to be was someone who was filled with magic and power, someone who was connected to this world, and I thought to me. I have used every bit of influence I have in the Star and Order. I have prayed. I have done everything. I'm going to roll real quick here also the
nice.
Mysterian
2
Order.
1s. Watch it coming up.
Oh.
I have an 18.
What is your total? So you've got 18? Okay. Go. Yeah, 16's the most. Or actually, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and probably to raise it up, get you a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and spend one of my d8s to add in the third Or actually, well, wait, would I have to do that? Because that automatically comes in here. So
Yeah, I don't think you need to.
No, actually, yeah,
You're able to
I won't have to
order.
do that. Yeah, I won't have to do that because the other ones are one's added to it. She goes, everything I have done is I. It's not that I don't want you to change and grow. People change and grow, but this was something that we shared together. This was part of who we were and part of who you were. How can we connect if that's no longer a part of you?
Like, it's not about. I think you just need to say it. That you can't love someone who doesn't have magic. That my intellect, and he sort of looks wistfully at the, portrait a second. My looks aren't enough for you. If I don't have magic, you don't consider me anything. Exactly.
See if you can beat that 20.
So, I think I'm rolling my honesty, which is stepped back, so it should be at a D8 right now. Do I still have the challenged roll for a relationship? Does that stay for the scene, or does that only apply for one roll? Okay.
Just for one roll.
Yeah.
And then it steps it back for the session.
So I'm using a D10, a D6. Wasn't he stressed?
Oh, yeah.
I hit him with a D4.
Oh, he
A
was
D4 angry.
D10, D6, D4. I'll even say, like, I talked to Reginald, who's one of his other priests. Like, he says you haven't tried everything. So I'm trying to roll in connected to. And I'm at home in my parlor. I'm not using it for information or restoration, though, so I'm not going to use it.
Okay.
I think that's enough dice. 10, 6, 4, 12. Yeah, maybe. It's a Hail Mary.
I believe in you.
10, 6, 4, 12. What did he roll total? 21? 20?
20.
Can do that. I'll spend a plot point to include in extra die. For the one?
Gain a plot point for the... Yep.
So I've revealed that I have an agent in his midst.
Yes. So that's what you want to hear me say. That because you're different, because you've changed, I no longer love you. Because I don't value the body that you have, but instead that part of you that was indelible and unique. And let me also roll the last D8 for Mysterian Order and all the things he's tried to do. And with everything I have done, 6, 10, 14, yeah, he goes, Oh shit, that's fine. Then you're right. The part of you that I need, the part of you that I loved, included the part of you that was magic, that could share that part of my life.
Yeah, it's only
You
a
only had a
D4
D4 effect die. Okay, do you want to go keep that angry, or
I'd
do you
say
want to go with something
exhausted.
else?
I think he's
Yeah.
tired of this fighting.
So if that's what you need to hear right now, if we want to be back together, and I do want that, I need you back. Not this bitter person you've become. At which point, if you don't stop him, he turns around and leaves.
I won't stop him. As he turns, you see me, hesitantly, move, to stop him, and then I pull myself back.
Yeah, as it sort of turns from the thing, he looks back at you briefly before you see him disappear behind the door. All right, Nastya.
Oh.
Scala and what was his name? Duelis are in the basement when you go down there. And then as you sort of come down, they've got this. You want to? Oh, you should. Do you want one?
Yeah, she goes over.
You want to hit?
She says, you remember I'm a half demon, right? This isn't some of that weak shit from before.
She goes. She kind of looks at you and then kind of looks at herself, also half demon. Like, the fuck's you? Yes. Like, I take the weak shit, and she like kind of like pops Duelis on the shoulders, like he's the one that's got to be careful of how much he takes. Stupid human. He's like, hey man, I can handle that shit once in a while, but I prefer the lesser buzz. Demon buzz is an angry buzz. And they go, okay, it's good you came down because we're going to look for you. And she goes, yeah, we've got this great idea. Okay, so, but we maybe need some help.
Crazy idea, like steal the king's crown idea again.
No. Steal the king's crown? We're doing stuff that's around. Listen, the stuff we're going to do is not going to be that tough, but we want to thinking about maybe helping choose those groups of adventurers who maybe aren't ready for like the dungeons at all, and just like not kill them, not even rough them up all that bad, but just sort of send them into a place where we can kind of make a little extra coin, send them on their way, teach them a lesson, save their lives, right?
That sounds like mugging with extra steps.
Oh, God, I knew the Duelist stands up. He's like, no, okay, listen. Okay. You used to work in the dungeons, right?
I still do.
I was trying to remember. Oh, yeah, you try to hide that from
well, I go down and
proprietor.
scavenge, so I think the proprietor knows.
Yeah. Because Duelist is like, no, see, you got it wrong. Here's the thing. See, a lot of people go, like, how many groups of adventurers go down there and just get killed by gnolls or orcs or other things that are down there?
What percentage?
Percentage. What we're trying to do is lower that percentage. They're not going to get killed, but you can't teach an adventurer that this is dumb stuff to be doing for a living, like, without hurting them a little bit. I mean, yeah, it's mugging, but it's making sure that they're not killed down there. And isn't it a better thing to get a couple bruises than to be murdered by a monster in the
So, Duelist, are you going to come down with us and do this?
Well, yeah, but we need like you to talk to Samrio, because like we need to like make sure that we're skimming the ones who are like not gonna learn, and also are not like really powerful.
Right. And so when we murk people and they live and they come back up here and they see us in the inn working it, what are they gonna say?
The two of them just sort of like little like open mouth looking at you a little bit, and then they like look at each other for a second, and then Duelist goes, "But they wouldn't come back. Would you come back being all embarrassed and set back up with nothing?"
I mean, that's
They're not going to
half
come
of
back,
what
right?
the adventurers do. I mean, like, have you seen half of them? It's almost like an addiction for them. They go down, they win or lose, they come back.
And Scala's like, we could. There are ways of disguising ourselves. We would be able to just like get in, get out. Like they wouldn't necessarily know it's us. There are traps that we could use. There's all sorts of like you know those areas. We just sort of sent them to the wrong place enough to teach them a lesson to get them out. Take some
And
of
now,
their
like,
stuff.
the demon weed's setting in a little bit, and she's just mulling it over. And she's like, fine, fuck. Just ask me this again when you're not high as fuck. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I suppose.
Now I'm gonna go down there and do my job. Do you want to come, Scala? Cool.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, proprietor. Well, you're speaking with Pele up there about some stuff, and he's getting. Well, I gotta check my books, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you show me how long it's been, what does Nixtra the Bloody look like?
Nixtra is. Oh, I think I wrote it down. Hang on. I think it's in the description. Give me 1 second, everyone. Don't touch that dial. Just gotta find him. Nixtra is an incubus demon. So he's actually like looks mostly human, but his skin is like a lighter gray pale. He has incredibly funky hair and looks good in everything he wears.
All right. There's a knock at your door. You
Yeah,
do
it's-
you have a window in your door? Yeah, you can see Nixtras out there.
This today. Pele, would you excuse me for a moment? And then I'll get up.
Yeah, that's demon
This will
business.
take
I
long,
get it. I
Nicholas.
understand.
I'll get up and I'll try and open the door in a way so
Okay,
Nixtra doesn't see that Pele's in there, and I close it behind me and be like, Nixtra?
Proprietor. I mean, would Nixtra say
He'll
your
probably,
actual name?
he'll probably call me by my
like proprietor.
my work name, which is Fleshier. Yeah.
Flesh era? Okay.
It
Go ahead
is
and do
on
me a
there.
favor. Write that on your character
Mhm.
keeper so I got to think for that. Oh, is it? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the flesh seer. So I was talking to Anne. She said that I don't know. She might want to see if you're still angry. Maybe you two could
She spoke to
talk a
you.
bit. Yeah, we talk sometimes.
She couldn't come straight to me. She went to you.
Well, you two are.
No, I don't, actually. I,
Listen,
mean, I
you
do not know what
she's
she's like.
She. Well, you've been with her for a while, so you have at least.
Well, I thought I had an idea until she decided to go to the one person I'd rather not speak to. One demon to the next. What am I supposed to think?
Listen, I don't want this to get weird, but being
Ladies just find you?
ladies
You just
find
happen to find ladies? And now you're coming here to tell me this? Then what are you here for?
That's not what I've come to tell you. What I'm saying Anne would like to meet you someplace where the two of you can talk.
So why isn't she telling me this than you are?
Argue. You don't think I asked her about that?
Last night!
I asked. This morning, she's like, could you just talk to him?
What do you mean by last night? When last
Did I
night?
talk to her last night?
Where? What are you doing? What did you spend the night?
Good
Did you spend
Lord,
the night
this
with her? I lean over him. I'm like breathing like flames from my nose.
I love he's just a lot smaller, but absolutely unintimidated. Just sort of looking up, and he goes, what do you think?
Get out.
Don't be jealous. You know I don't connect like
Get
that
out.
with people often. Okay.
Get out!
Just saying, you might want to... Okay. And he Samrio, you're kind of at the bar, and you just see, like, very well-dressed Incubus just...
Yeah. I mean, I recognize him from the Angel's Wrist. I'm just like, hey, Dexter.
Yeah. And then as he leaves, Pele just kind of pops his head around the corner and goes, this
I
seems
look
like
back
a
at him.
bad
Every time in a demon's life is a bad time. I would advise you come back in 3 months and not 1.
Okay, I will probably do that. Okay. I'll
Have
check
a
my
nice
records.
day.
I will try my best. And like Samrio, like Bailey comes up to you, he goes, I should probably settle my tab now.
I'm like, don't worry about him. He's just it's the demon sense. It just it just kind of flows out sometimes, and give him a few minutes. He'll be all right.
The bar will be considerably warmer for the next few hours.
You see just a burning pile of clothes set out in front of the proprietor's door. Just send for another tailor. Okay. So about this point, is there any? So we'll do this. As soon we'll probably do some stuff with just advancement, show you how that works. Part of today was showing you how the system works, get you a little bit used to that. In my experience, and I think this was true when we did the stuff with Lloyd. I don't know if Steve's had this. It gets to a point where you're able to pretty quickly pick off the things you want to use once you're used to it. So that stuff tends to run a bit faster. And I also wanted to just also kind of get to know the characters a little bit, set some stuff up so that we can get more things that drive it a little more specifically next time. Part of the nature of it means that I'll often be trying to put you maybe 2 people together, but is everyone cool with the fact that at times it'll be hopping from character to character?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's a common thing with the system. There's times I'll try to bring everybody together, but usually trying to pop back and forth so nobody's sitting there for too long. Plus, there's often some abilities and triggers and such that let you sort of pop into scenes. I'm thinking, I think that might be a Doom pulled idea to bring somebody else in. But, yeah, there's times you can also interfere in contests you're not in by spending a plot point. You can kind of try to come in if you're stopping something. So before we end for today and kind of go over how the experience stuff works, anybody have anything particular their characters are wanting to do, or was everyone just sort of
No, I'm good
settling
at
down
all.
for stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like seeing like a short vignette of all the characters, like what they do at the end of their day. Like, how does their workday end?
Sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
So for Samrio, you see Samrio walk into his house, and Ronan's there, and Ronan's got this big tome of music, and doesn't even look up from the book.
Mm-hmm.
When Samrio walks in, and then Samrio just goes and just plops down in this chair, just looking all exhausted, and and Ruby is the only one that's happy to see him. Kenyatta doesn't even say anything. Ruby's the only one that's Daddy, and runs up, and he kind of gives her a hug, and it's just a little vignette of what the home life is right when he gets home.
Okay. Yeah. So for the most part, you two not talk a lot while your wife and you. While you're there, or is she
I just think it's no, we
interactive with what's
talk.
going
It's
on?
just that this is such routine. This is every day, and I'm sure,
Okay.
like in a little while, she'll start bringing up like all these, gossip about Anne and Nixtra and the proprietor and that whole love triangle thing. Because she likes to shop with Anne, so
Okay.
she probably hears all the juicy bits.
Okay. So it sounds fair to say, like, you don't take each other for granted, but you do your own thing where you're not like, when you come in, it doesn't have to be like, we have to acknowledge each other. Like, we're going to see you every day anyway. So, okay. So that is the end of Samrio's day. Someone else want to show theirs?
For Wrath, it's always in this parlor. But he's, you see him, sort of in, what looks like his bedclothes, and he's, writing, in his tome. 'Cause it's also, where he keeps his diary of. There's never a lack of pages in it. There's like, he can always just write, and the pages just, it's always the same thickness of book. So he's writing, and, you see him, there's sort of sections for, business and, relationships, and he's, talking about how, another fight with, Adon today, and, not sure if I'm going to be able to have another, but then he just, like always, before he gets up from the book, you see him test it, to like try and get to like the back section, and the back section never opens for me because it's the section that was locked, by my own magic key that I can't open anymore. And then he just sighs, and then he retires.
It's like the book from Up. It's so when you open it, I'm gonna sob like a child. All right, and then the proprietor or.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, mine's quite short. It's it goes down into the basement and like into like the corner around like a wall of kegs, and it's got like a little curtain that holds off like a little like soft bed of furs and stuff, and just like she's just got like she's made it like her own little den area, and she's just laying on her back with and she's just got like several pouches around her, and like she's going over like a necklace and like some of the goodies that she found off people in the dungeon. Yeah,
the dungeon. All right.
So I actually don't sleep on what's called in the building. I sleep in the first floor of the dungeon. There's a secret passageway that leads to my secret boss area that I keep closed because I'm not there. And even if adventurers do find it, there's a sorry, I'm not here. I'm actually running the pub. Please have a good time. Don't steal anything. And it's like this it looks like this warm lava filled room. But there's actually, when I come up past to the right, there's actually a normal bed with a stand and like a torch and some books. And I'm like, I crawl into it because I wear pajamas. And I just pull these cloths around me. And I open up the book and I'm trying to read. But I'm so angry that as I'm reading the book just flames up. And I sigh. I throw in the next pile of books that have been burnt. Pick up another one and try reading that again.
All right. Cool. So then one thing we can do, but it actually sort of makes sense for the way this went, since we're sort of getting started. That wouldn't necessarily be on this one today, but you can have a scene with someone, with another player character, and they can actually essentially get rid of one of your stress, and when that happens, it goes into growth. So at this point, what everyone does is takes the highest stress you have, put that into your growth pool, and then everyone steps any stress they have down by 1.
So did I can't remember, was I given stress by the proprietor?
Yes, I gave you D12 insecure.
Okay.
It's good for you, don't worry about it.
That's supposed to be in stress and...
Yeah. You're in the growth... So the growth pool, you got 1d12 for the attention. You don't have the insecure, you don't put there. So you would have 1d12 for when you use the attention. like I would leave the D4, D6, and all those because like you keep those. You're actually putting stuff in there. So when you challenge that, then add another D12 for insecure and step down your insecure to D10. And then I think Samrio, you did not take any stress. All right, we're going to concentrate on you a little bit next time. We get more into your family and other life. You managed to do well on those things. We're going to push it.
So that I have 2 in D12 now then in growth.
Yeah, so you have 2 in D12 in growth. And I think also, Lloyd, you did not get any stress or
I had a
challenge
great
anything?
day.
Okay, so I'll be pushing you two a little more next time. Yeah, then we've got stress for... Cool. So at this point, there's a couple things you can do with stress. And with your growth pool, rather. And you can also keep it for... keep it for next time. I'm like the original stuff, like you get rid of each session, but that would get a little ridiculous at times. So you can spend like a growth pool die to add special effects, like for powers and stuff. The other thing that you can do with growth is you can try to raise something. So what happens is you would take whatever you're trying to raise, like an ability, a distinction, a relationship, or a resource. Your values don't change, but there in a moment some of you may have a chance to rewrite them, so we'll talk about that real quick. And so you say whatever trait it's going to, you end up rolling your stress, and then I roll the new trait level that you want to go to, plus if it's an ability, it's a D12, like a power, it's a D12. If it's a distinction, it's a D10. A relationship or resource is a D6. So those are much easier to raise up. So if I succeed, you raise it up, or if you succeed, you raise it up. If not, you can raise it up, but you have to lower something. And then at which point it then resets your stress.
Okay, cool.
And spoilers don't matter as far as that one. And also for your statements. So the ones you challenged, you can do one of two things at this point. If you want to keep your statement the same, what happens is you step back the value by 1. If it's a value, you step up something else. If it's a relationship, it stays stepped down. But then what you do is you add that die. You add that die total to your growth pool.
Okay.
So, like for example, if Steve ends up starting to take the 8 on our love can survive my loss of magic. If he decides that he's sticking with that he still thinks that's possible, it would reduce it from a D8 to a D6, but would also add that D6 or that D8 rather again into the growth pool. Otherwise, you can rewrite it so your character's outlook is changing and it remains. It goes back to what it was.
Both of mine.
Okay.
Not at the moment, but I will.
I'm gonna lower. It's gonna try and keep it the same. And then I'm gonna raise authority, I guess.
Okay. Yep, which then means you get to add that. Or actually, I think with the values, it just steps the other one up. Let me just double check. Yeah, values. It'll just step up another one. It's it's relationships that it'll add to the growth pool. Yeah, so that's basically the way you can shift your values around is by challenging them, and then raising and lowering other stuff. So you can unhighlight that now, since now it has been. It'll be at that rating for the next one. So for those with the growth pool, do you wish to try to raise something or add something new, or did you want to add special effects, or do you just want to sort of save up some of those dice for now?
Can you go into special effects
and use
now?
them later? So special effects, if you've got the Smallville thing open, like let me find the powers. special effects are pretty much with powers. There's a whole bunch of ones you can create pretty easily. There's a thing in the Cortex Prime that I can find real quick that has them. But let's say, for example, you have strength. Let me just pull that up real quick. So super strength, for example. One thing I want to do for anybody who has a power, you'll get one special effect for free. So say, for example, you had perform a fantastic feat of strength. Let's say you wanted that already. But if you want to get, like, say, throw or knock another character out of a scene, which means you spend a plot point and basically punk, and then they go flying off away. What you do is, instead of having to roll for that, you just get rid of one of your dice for your grade.
Oh, I see.
So
I'm not
If I
gonna.
do one of those things, I can get rid of one of my growth pool dice or spend a plot point. Is that true?
Well, no, it's if you right now you've only got, like, you can choose one of the ones for, like, super speed. Like, everyone should start off with one for each of their powers. And then if you want more of them, like break through a wall, even a brick or stone wall to grab. Like, let's say you want that one, you're like, oh, I'm going to give up one of my growth die, and that's going to become a permanent addition to my character. I can always spend a plot point to do that thing. And there's other, like, if there's other things you think of that would be like, here's something I should be able to do because of that ability. We can kind of talk about that and then get other special effects as well.
I'm gonna look at mine offline because I might do that. I might add a couple special effects. I never really properly defined my first one because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do with the Tome of Knowledge. But I have a feeling it's going to be sort of cherry picked from, like, precognition and one of the translation ones or something. So I'll get a few things from there.
Okay.
And then I think
the system stuff. And also,
I was going to say, long term, I think I'll eventually try and pick up magic again, as a ability.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to work into that. Oh yeah, exactly.
It's no fun if it happens real quick. Okay, so I guess beyond that, because that really just leaves sort of Lexa with any of those things. So we can kind of go over that because I've got some time. For everyone else, I know that we can kind of also keep track of things on the Discord a little bit. Also find out, like, I know one thing I want to do next time is we got Lex and Steve sort of pushed more as far as their character stuff. So I will, like, spend some time getting a little bit more with the proprietor and Samrio. And there's also at least some interesting storyline stuff that with Lexa that can definitely pull in Samrio, and I'm interested in looking into some stuff with Wrath, with a couple of the things that you've mentioned have popped up. There's some stuff there, and I'm also looking forward to playing with the proprietor. So I want to
you know me, I'm the king of stress. Love it. It's great. Good times.
Are we doing this weekly, every other week? I missed that at the end of last session.
Yeah, do we want to...
Okay.
I think we were going to try to do weekly, but, like, what are people's schedules?
Next week,
because we had to...
next Sunday may not be the best for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
it's
good.
great for me. I have a great time. I know what you guys are about. I have no problem whatsoever for next week.
I
do it,
do the second.
Yeah, so we probably don't want to do next week because it's Thanksgiving. I'm going to go the... Listen,
we fled here from you.
Did a lot of terrible things. because you wouldn't let us tell people what we wanted them to...
You wouldn't let us tell people how to live their lives.
Fine.
Yeah, so we came here to do it. So probably
Yeah, it would probably be best for me.
December 2nd?
Yeah, that'll work out great for me.
Cool. See, I guess for everyone else, because you've got, like right now you don't have any other stuff to do, I guess, Lexa, if we want, we can work through some stuff, or we can also, if you want to take a look through, we can talk about it, like, at our game tomorrow or throughout the week.